Egunon guztioi eta ongi etorri. Buenos días y bienvenidos a todos y a todas. Good morning and welcome, or as we say in Basque, in our language, ongi etorri to Gasteiz, to the capital of the Basque country, a unique land shaped by its language and its people where everyone is made to feel at home. So we really hope you're enjoying your stay here. Fabrikazio aurreratua eraldaketa sakonean dago, lanpostuak aldatzen ari dira, gauza jakina da, eta lanbide heziketako ikasleak trebatu behar dira. Testuinguru horretan kokatzen da hain justu LCAMP proiektua, lanbide heziketa, industria eta berrikuntza konektatzeko helburu horrekin. Como decía, el sector de la fabricación avanzada está en plena transformación, los empleos están cambiando y se requieren nuevas competencias. En este contexto nace LCAMP con el objetivo de conectar la formación profesional, la industria y la innovación. As you all know, the advanced manufacturing sector is undergoing a profound transformation. Jobs are changing and new skills are increasingly needed. LCAMP was created in this context to connect vocational education, industry and innovation. Azken lau urteotan, bederatzi herrialdetako bazkide aritu dira lanean eta besteak beste, fabrikazio aurreratuaren inguruko behatokia sortu da. Lanbide heziketan eta enpresa txikietan berrikuntza sustatzeko proiektuak egin dira eta LCAMP Alliance izeneko sarea sortu da, orain arte egindako lan horri, nolabait, jarraipena emateko. En los últimos 4 años, 20 socios de 9 países han trabajado juntos, creando un observatorio de fabricación avanzada, desarrollando proyectos de innovación en formación profesional y pymes y estableciendo la LCAMP Alliance para dar continuidad a ese trabajo. Proiektu horren azken konferentzia da gaur, Gasteizen egiten ari garena, hauxe. Euskadik sare honetan duen presentziak argi uzten du, ezta? Lanbide heziketa gure gizartearen oinarrietako bat dela, funtsean. The event we are holding today in Gasteiz marks the final conference of this project. The presence of the Basque country in this network highlights the key role of vocational education as a foundation of our society and a driver of Europe's industrial future. Segidan, Begoña Pedrosa hezkuntza sailburuak hartuko du hitza, cedo la palabra a la consejera de Educación, Begoña Pedrosa. We are honored to welcome Begoña Pedrosa, Minister of Education of the Basque Government. Beraz, Pedrosa anderea nahi duzunean, zurea da hitza.
Eskerrik asko Nerea eta ongi etorri, lehenengo aldiz gure lanbide heziketako kongresu honetara eta egunon guztioi. Good morning, buenos días a todos y a todas. For us, for the Basque government, it is a great pleasure to have you all here in Gasteiz, in the capital city of our country, and in this international congress. And we are really delighted. I had the opportunity to chat with you last night, some of you, and well, we really believe that this is a real opportunity to grow together. We're nearly 700 people today here, 24 countries altogether. And the connection is vocational education. Vocational education and training. That's a very important word. Companies, institutions, and international networks all together, working together. And this year, I must underline that we are especially proud because we have students among ourselves. And that's really interesting. Around 40 students from different countries. We are joined by representatives from key European and international institutions, including the European Commission, the OECD, Lisa, the European Training Foundation, and UNESCO and UNIVOC as well, together with public authorities, vocational education and training networks, companies, innovation, ecosystems from different countries. Wow, that's a lot. I think that's a real challenge. And in these days, many of you will visit our training schools We will meet with different companies, and you will engage in conversations with teachers, our professionals. That's really enriching. Students and our teams within the network. You will also participate in workshops. You will visit industrial sites and will take part in activities linked to real projects that make a difference in our country, in our system, in our society. And all this makes this week much more than a congress. It is much more than a congress. It becomes an opportunity to discover our country and its vocational education and training system model firsthand. And that contact, direct contact with this reality that we have developed all together is really and extremely valuable for us because it allows to understand how we work in the Basque Country and how we have created, developed our ecosystem over this time. And that is why this week will combine different scenarios because learning, from our point of view, learning happens when systems open themselves. And it also happens when people get together. We have people who teach, people who learn, we have people who collaborate, exchange, improve. But the most important thing, we work with people, professionals that believe in what they do every single day. Eta hori da, gure eredua, lanbide heziketako eredua, eta gure lan egiteko modua hori da gure esentzia azken finean. Eta gaur, elkartzen gara hemen, oso momentu berezia da guretzat, eta proiektuarentzat, nereak esan duen moduan, LCAMP bere amaierara iristen delako 4 urteren ondoren, 4 urteko lana burutu dugu. Eta ibilbide honek, hainbat herrialdetan izan ditu topaketak. Alemanian, 24an, Suedian, 25an, eta gaur hemen gaude, Euskadin, eta oso pozik gaude. Guretzat oso esanguratsua da momentu hau, eta proiektu hau gure bazkidekin batera koordinatu dugu. Eta horrek aukera eman digu bilakaera guztia gertutik bizitzeko eta jarraitzeko. Eta ez da izan koordinazio formal hutsa. Etengabeko lana izan da. Ikastetxeekin, talde ezberdinekin, enpresekin, nazioarteko bazkideekin, egokituz joan gara eta elkarrekin eraikitzen joan gara. Eta gaur ikusten duguna da sare sendo bat, nazioarteko sare sendo bat, funtzionatzen duen sare bat, ikasten duen sare bat, eta konektatuta dagoena, etorkizunera begira lan egingo duena. Eta horrek garrantzia handia dauka, eta azken topaketa hartzea ez da amaiera, nire ustez jarraitzeko aukera bat da. Guretzat jarraitzeko aukera bat da, eta proiektu berriak etorriko dira hemendik. Zagatik, lankidetza zaintzen danean, lantzen denean eta denboran zehar mantentzen denean, emaitzak sendoak direlako. Eta atzera begiratzen badugu, errazago ulertzen da gaur hemen zer gertatzen ari da. Duela 30 urte baino gehiago. Euskadiko lanbide heziketan ikastetxeak beste modu batean antolatzen hasi zirean. Eta guretzat, batzuentzat oso ezaguna den errelatoa da, baina azpimarratu behar dugu eta gure kanpoko lagunei azaldu behar diegu. Elkarrekin lan egitea, ezagutza partekatzea, elkar babestea, hori izan zen gure erabakia. Elkar babestea eta elkarrekin bide egitea. Esan ohikoa, hau, garai hartan. Baina behar argi bati erantzuteko mobilizatu ginen, hobetzeko, azkarrago ikasteko, aurreratzeko eta aldaketara hobeto egokitzeko. Eta denborarekin, balan egiteko modu hori gure kultura bilakatu da. Edatu eginda, egituratu eginda, eta gure sistemaren oinarritako bat bihurtu da. Une bat, bereziki gogoratzen dugu taldean eta pertsonekin hitz egiterakoan. Europako batzordetik bizita jaso genuen, gure lana bertatik bertara ezagutu ahal izateko. Tartean, Joa Santosen bizita izan genuen, eta ikastetxeak bizitatu zituzten, errealitatea. Holan ezagutzen da egiteko modua. Taldekin hitz egin, gertutik ikusi. Oso ikastetxe txikietan ere egon ziren, eta lankidetza zertan datzan ezagutzeko aukera izan zuten. Euskadi ez da lurralde handia, baina ambizio handiarekin lan egiten dugu. ikuspegiarekin eta ikastetxeekin batera, enpresekin batera, enpresen arteko elkar lana bultzatuz. Eta Europak hemen ez zuen eredu itxi bat aurkitu. Aurkitu zuena izan zen lan egiteko modu bat. Irekia, kolaboratiboa, solidarioa eta oso errotuta gure errealidadeari. Eta hori da gure gaurko leloa. Globala eta lokala, biak beharrezkoak dira. Eta hori da Europara edatu duguna. LCAMP is part of this wider European framework model. From the beginning, it was designed with a clear ambition to grow, to develop, and to remain active. Over these years, the goal has been to build a useful structure, not just a network of connected schools, but also a foundation of services that creates value for students, schools, companies, and society at the end of the day. And this work has been developed step by step, exchanging knowledge, comparing approaches, and adapting solutions to different contexts. We've worked understanding how professional profiles in advanced manufacturing are developing and changing, which skills are needed by companies, and how digitalization and green transition are shaping the needs that we have nowadays. We've developed tools to translate that knowledge into education and training, and that is practical and flexible. And we have strengthened collaboration with companies, especially small companies that need help, by doing applied innovation, which is also part of our characteristics. And we've promoted learning environments, ecosystems, closer to real production settings, where students work with reality, with real technologies, real processes, and real challenges. And when I say real challenges, we're talking about real challenges. All of this is already part of the daily work of our schools. And it is also part of what you are seeing these days, because you are speaking with people and you are trying to understand how we work. And this is one of LCAMP's most valuable contributions, turning strategy into real practice, into living tools. Eta lan guzti hau zeharkatzen duten nik azpimarratuko nituzke hiru elementu nagusi. Bikaintasuna, inklusioa eta lehiakortasuna ere bai. Euskadin lehiakortasuna gure ibilbide industrialaren parte delako, baina ez da kontzeptu abstraktu bat. Enpresa sendoekin eta enpresekin beraien lanarekin du zerikusia. Kalitatezko enpleguarekin ere bai. Eta pertsonek bizitza osoan zehar garatzeko duten aukerekin. Hor dago gure lanbide heziketaren papera. Prestakuntza eta errealitatea produktiboa zuzenean lotzen dituelako, aldatzeko, eguneratzeko eta evoluzionatzeko aukera ematen diguna. Eta profil oso desberdinei ateak irekitzen dizkielako, gaur egun inoiz baino gehiago gainera. Azken batean lehiakortasunak zentzua du aukerak sortzen dituenean. I'll be finishing. This Congress becomes and comes at a key moment for us. We've recently presented our strategy for the future, and a strategy that we presented with our president, Pradales, but the most important thing, a strategy that has been designed with our professionals, asking our professionals and looking straight away, face to face, to the needs of society. We've also shared it in Brussels, engaging with European institutions and aligning with their priorities. At a time, we must say, when Europe is redefining its own vocational education model, we are, of course, moving in the right direction, we must say. And this roadmap builds on what we already are doing, but the most important thing that projects into the future. That's the most important thing. Collaboration, innovation, international openness, and strong connections with the productive environment. This all is at its core. These same principles are present in this LCAMP network, I must say. And what you are experiencing here is the result of sustained work over time, of teams that coordinate, adapt, and work together. But the most important thing is that we are connecting the future. And when I say the future, I'm talking about people and I'm talking about our students. We're connecting our students with the future. Amaitzeko, eskerrak. Eskerrak eman nahi dizkiet proiektu honetan parte hartu duten guztiei, ikastetxeei, irakaslei, enpresei eta nazioarteko bazkideei. Eta esker berezia teknikari, Inigo eta bere lantaldeari badakite lan handia dagoela honen atzean. Eta sarea aktibo mantentzen dugu, hori da importanteena. Etapa berri bat irekitzen da, aukerekin. Proiektu bat ondo iztea oso garrantzitsua da, eta horregatik erabaki genuen kongresuan egitea. Baina bidea irekita dago, eta hori da importanteena, eta eskertuta gaude, elkarrekin gaudelako gaur hemen. Eskerrik asko, partekatu dugun lanagatik, espero dut hemen garatzen diren eta aurkeztuko diren ideia guztiak benetan aplikagarriak eta eraginkorrak izatea etorkizuneko Europako lanbide heziketa guztion artean eraikitzeko, eta elkarrekin bide jarraitzen egiteko. Eta honekin amaitzen dut, beraz, usten zaituztet, hemengo ponenteekin, baina sorpresa txikitxo bat daukat, eta gustatuko litzaidake Jorge Arévalo, gure salburu orde ohia, holtza gainera, gonbidatzea, txalo bero bat. Bueno, pues ya estamos aquí, Jorge. Tú conoces muy bien la red. Bueno, queríamos encontrar el momento sobre todo para agradecerte todo lo que has hecho por este país, por la formación profesional específicamente, y yo también personalmente por lo que he aprendido contigo, porque lo tengo que decir. Hemos podido trabajar juntos casi 5 años y, bueno, hoy era un momento importante porque has participado de esta red, pero porque tenemos aquí a todos nuestros stakeholders, ¿no? Tenemos aquí a la gente de la industria, tenemos a otras personas del gobierno, pero lo más importante, están nuestros profesionales, están nuestros directores y directoras, bueno, está tu equipo, parte de tu equipo que sigue conmigo, y tenemos además, bueno, también alumnado, que es importante, ¿no? A mí me gustaría públicamente agradecer el trabajo que Jorge Arévalo ha desarrollado en los últimos, tú dirás cuántos años, porque te voy a pasar la palabra ahora, no sé, 30, 40, no sé, muchísimos. La semilla que has plantado para que podamos seguir construyendo FP. Y ahora nos toca a nosotros y a nosotras seguir construyendo con todos y con todas vosotras, pero era importante que Jorge recibiera este pequeño homenaje por parte de todos los que estamos aquí presentes y muchos de los que hoy no pueden estar aquí. Así que, Jorge, eskerrik asko, bihotz-bihotzez, Eusko Jaurlaritzaren izenean, eta nik esango nuke gure lanbide heziketako familiaren izenean hemen eta mundu mailan. Beraz, txalo bero bat, Jorgerentzat.
Eskerrik asko, Jorge. Bueno, eskerrik asko, Bego, eskerrik asko, bihotz-bihotzez. Es un placer estar hoy aquí. La verdad que han sido 46 años en la formación profesional, 24 de profesor en el aula y 22 tuve el honor de dirigir la formación profesional vasca, y ha sido realmente apasionante en todo lo que hemos podido ir haciendo, en un montón de cosas y en situaciones realmente complicadas. Cuando, sobre todo recuerdo a partir de 2012, cuando Lorea Bilbao, aquí presente, parlamentaria vasca en este momento, el Parlamento Vasco, decidió que había que impulsar seriamente la formación profesional porque había que salir de una crisis tremenda que estábamos viviendo. Y, bueno, a partir de ahí, bueno, hemos llegado a donde hemos llegado. Y en gran medida, hemos conseguido cosas increíbles gracias a vuestro trabajo. A cientos de directores y directoras, de equipos directivos, miles de profesoras y profesores que con vuestro compromiso hemos llegado a tener la formación profesional que tenemos en la actualidad, preparada para asumir los retos que tenemos por delante, y os puedo decir que el que viene va a ser realmente duro. Nunca hemos fallado y esta vez seguro que tampoco vamos a fallar. Hemos conseguido hacer, a lo largo de estos 22 años que estuve fueron 6 de director general y 16 de viceconsejero, 6 planes de formación profesional, una agenda estratégica, hemos conseguido hacer una ley de formación profesional del País Vasco, hemos creado el Instituto Vasco de Aprendizajes Futuros, hemos creado también el Instituto Vasco del Talento, Tecnica, que es nuestro estandarte en gran parte del trabajo que realizamos como Centro de Investigación e Innovación Aplicada. Todo ello, además del trabajo que habéis hecho desde los centros, ha hecho que tengamos la formación profesional que tenemos en la actualidad. Pero ahora tenéis por delante un reto importantísimo, también una nueva estrategia 2030. Y esa nueva estrategia es la que nos tiene que preparar. Es muy importante que nos prepare para la nueva situación que vamos a vivir, que estamos viviendo y que os va a tocar también impulsar. Es verdad que se necesita un liderazgo por parte de la formación profesional, un apoyo serio por parte del departamento, pero al final las cosas salen por el gran trabajo que hacéis en el día a día, que son los resultados, al final, que son los importantes, tanto por el nivel de preparación de nuestro alumnado como por el apoyo que estamos dando a nuestras empresas, que son miles de empresas a las que ayudamos para que puedan ser competitivas y puedan realmente seguir trabajando con normalidad. En ese planteamiento a futuro, en esa complejidad, no podemos olvidarnos de dos cosas. Por un lado, la importancia de mantener la competitividad. Vienen tiempos muy complejos, mucho, y necesitamos ser muy competitivos. Y hay dos opciones. Hay que mejorar la productividad y mejorar la innovación. En la innovación, sabéis que desde la FP trabajamos con las pymes y micropymes y hacemos un papel muy importante para que puedan desarrollar innovación. Y en el ámbito de la productividad, sabéis que es fundamental también el ámbito de la preparación de las personas, cosa que estamos haciendo muy bien, pero que tenemos que seguir impulsando porque la cuarta revolución industrial está ya sustituyendo muchos puestos de trabajo, pero va a transformar millones de puestos de trabajo. Y la velocidad a la que se está realizando la transformación es enorme, mucho más rápida de la que se podía pensar. En ese planteamiento nos situamos ya en una quinta revolución industrial, donde tenemos que preparar a las personas para que trabajen con máquinas automáticas, con inteligencia artificial, con robótica, con sistemas inteligentes y, además, para que defiendan su puesto de trabajo. Por lo tanto, tenemos que mejorar el nivel de cualificación de las personas que van a salir a trabajar, pero sobre todo también de las personas que están trabajando. Hay que recualificar a millones de personas, millones, en nuestro caso a miles de personas aquí en Euskadi, para que puedan seguir manteniendo su trabajo cuando toda la tecnología se vaya desarrollando a la velocidad cada vez mayor que se está desarrollando. Para terminar, deciros que ese futuro incierto y complejo hacia que vamos es un futuro también esperanzador si hacemos las cosas bien, pero sobre todo si somos capaces de reforzar lo más importante que va a tener el futuro, que somos las personas, es decir, el ser humano. Que el ser humano esté siempre por delante de la tecnología, que la tecnología nos sirva para trabajar mejor y para vivir mejor, que seamos capaces de desarrollar entornos en los que, pues vivamos mejor en un ámbito diferente, porque el mundo está cambiando y vivimos una nueva realidad que ya no nos va a llevar al mundo que hemos conocido hasta hace poco tiempo. Y ahí la formación profesional vasca, una vez más, va a jugar un papel fundamental. No os olvidéis nunca que la formación no cambia el mundo. La formación prepara a las personas que pueden cambiar el mundo. Esa es la grandeza de nuestro trabajo y esa es también nuestra responsabilidad, porque la profesora, el profesor, el maestro, la maestra, afecta a la eternidad. Nunca sabe dónde acaba su influencia. Nunca os olvidéis de eso, porque si trabajamos de esa manera, si seguimos reforzando lo que es el concepto de ser humano en ese futuro que puede ser esperanzador, aunque estamos viviendo las barbaridades que estamos viendo en la actualidad, que pasarán. Y si estamos preparados, podemos tener un futuro realmente pues esperanzador y magnífico para que la gente pueda vivir una vida plena y lo más tranquila posible. Mucho ánimo con vuestro trabajo. Eskerrik asko Bego, eskerrik asko Jon, Nico, Inge, Isabel, eskerrik asko Ricard, que están por aquí, han trabajado menos Isabel, todos en mi equipo también. Con la consejera pude pasar 4 o 5 años casi muy intensos también, muy interesantes, aprendimos mucho, discutimos mucho también, nos tocó, tenemos que defender cada uno, ella el área de educación y yo el área de formación profesional, siempre construyendo, y y ha sido un placer el poder trabajar. Mi corazón estará siempre con vosotros, estará con la formación profesional y os deseo lo mejor en la vida. Hasta siempre, hasta cuando queráis.
Bueno, desde aquí enhorabuena también a Jorge. Nos quedamos con ese último mensaje de esperanza ante ese reto mayúsculo que tenemos enfrente, poniendo siempre a la persona en el centro. Yo creo que eso es clave y con eso nos quedamos. Eskerrik asko sailburu ere zure hitzengatik. LCAMP aims to become a European reference platform connecting vocational education and training, companies and innovation in the field of advanced manufacturing, supporting the development of the skills needed for Europe's industrial future. Lanbide heziketa modernizatzea eta Europako industriarako behar diren gaitasun berriak garatzea da Europako batzordearen lehentasunetako bat, eta horrekin lerrokatuta dago, hain zuzen ere, LCAMP proiektu hau. Horregatik Europar batzordeak ere presente egon nahi izan du gaurko ekitaldi honetan, eta Ana Bantxik Europako batzordeko enplegu, gizarte gai eta inklusio zuzendaritza nagusiko unitate buruaren hitzak entzungo ditugu jarraian. We will now show a short video by Ana Bantxik, head of the unit at the Directorate General for Employment, Social Affairs and Inclusion of the European Commission.
It is a true pleasure to take part today in the opening of this conference on global connection for local change. I would like to thank the Basque government for this kind invitation to this conference, as well as all representatives of the Basque stakeholders joining this event today for their participation. This event is an important contribution to the EU's VET policy. The world is changing very quickly, and fast technological development, including AI, is expected to significantly impact future jobs and skills demand. And in today's geopolitical and economic global context, strategic autonomy is essential for Europe's competitiveness. These challenges make your discussions today more urgent than ever, because VET has a key role to play. Already today, 9 out of 10 main shortage occupations in the EU require vocational qualifications. And our education and training systems need to adapt rapidly to deliver the skilled talent that will keep European businesses competitive in a fast-changing world. You are at the forefront of this transformation. The Basque country is widely recognized as one of Europe's most advanced regional VET ecosystems, characterized by strong cooperation between VET providers, enterprises and innovation actors, and by deep engagement in European cooperation projects. The 2030 Basque VET strategy demonstrates a clear and structured approach to addressing the evolving demands of the European labour market. By integrating innovation, inclusivity and sustainability, the strategy aligns closely with the EU priorities for skills development. I am pleased to see the Basque government's ambitious strategy and its strong commitment to a VET system that is flexible, focused on learners and fully aligned with the changing needs of Europe's economy. As some of you may know, the European Commission is currently preparing a new EU VET strategy. Our ambition is to make the most of the potential of VET to support competitive and resilient economies and bring prosperity at European national, regional and local level. The new strategy, which we will present in the coming months, will aim to ensure that VET is future-ready and inclusive, building on the Herning Declaration endorsed by governments and social partners in September 2025. While the exact content of the strategy remains to be determined, it will likely address issues such as attractiveness and participation in VET, labour market relevance and quality of training, innovation, excellence and entrepreneurship with closer cooperation between VET, businesses and applied research, mobility opportunities for VET learners and workers, and the international dimension of EU vocational excellence. I would like to finish with a mention of the key role of Erasmus Plus cooperation projects, particularly the Centers of Vocational Excellence. These initiatives are bridging the gap between VET providers and the labour market, strengthening cooperation and fostering innovation in skills development. COVs are truly shaping the future of VET, and I would like to congratulate the Basque government and its training centres for their strong engagement in these initiatives. Thank you, and I wish you all a fruitful and inspiring conference.
Well, thank you very much to Anna for this message. Before going on, please remember that you have, it's available, the simultaneous translation. If you wish, if you need, you can take the headphones at the entrance. Tira, bideo honen ostean, lanbide heziketaren eraldaketan jarriko dugu arreta, hezkuntzak eta ekonomiak elkarrekin egin behar dutelan, enpresek eskatzen dituzten gaitasun berrietara egokitzeko. We now move to the next session, focusing on the transformation of vocational education systems under link with the labor market. This session will address evolving skills needs with a particular emphasis on centers of vocational excellence. So we are pleased to welcome Elina Pylkänen, Under-Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment of Finland, and Giorgio Sissimos, Head of Human Capital Development Policy Advice Unit at the European Training Foundation, ETF. So please, let's give them a warm round of applause. Welcome.
Good morning. Wow, it's impressive to see the room from here. A full room. I think in the last 5-6 years, I've been in the Basque country for conferences on VET probably 4 or 5 times. And I've seen Arevalo on stage all these times leading the process. We are thankful for this effort. So let me thank again the Basque government, not only for this event, but for the work they've been doing the last couple of decades. Let me thank also LCAMP for this invitation. One word from my side, and then I will pass the floor to Elina, just to explain how we will do this on stage, these 15 minutes, how we'll manage them. We always talk about the partnership of the world of education and the world of industry, the world of work. So today we decided to do it in partnership here on stage. So you will hear from Elina about the performance of the economy, and then you will hear from an educationist, myself, how VET can cope. So Elina, how are we doing?
Partly nicely, but on the other hand, we have some problems, perhaps.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for this invitation. It's a really great pleasure to be here. I will show you some pictures of the economic performance of the European Union. And this is something that I've been admiring a long time. So we are facing downward sloping unemployment rate in European Union. This is the average of EU countries and Euro countries, and the all-time low unemployment rate. This is something that we have to celebrate. This is great news. But on the other hand, even though we have this great success of unemployment or decreasing unemployment and increasing employment, we still face some problems in our economic growth compared with our biggest competitors, US and China. As you can see, although we have so low unemployment rate and high employment rate, we still are lagging behind those two giants. What are we doing wrong? And if we then look at it, even though we have quantity of labor there, what about quality? Because this is our productivity, labor productivity. Production per hour worked or production per employed person. And we still lag behind. What are we doing in our work? So why is this so that we are losing to our, prominent competitor, the US, so much? Are we doing something wrong, or should we be better in some respect? And here you can see the labor productivity that is really, it has been even negative for a while. So I'm really worried about what are we doing, if we are not performing that well, although we have really nice unemployment rate and employment rate. So therefore, I really am, worried about education, vocational education, and our skills. Are they enough competitive? But something that I want to give you an example of, for example, a Finnish success story, because everyone here knows that we have really nice orchestra conductors in symphony orchestra. As you can probably, you have heard Esa-Pekka Salonen, Mikko Frank, Susanna Mälkki, and so on and so on. How can we, as a small country, produce such a nice or highly skilled, world-famous conductors? Yes, it's because they always practice. From the very beginning, they practice in front of real professional orchestras. From the very beginning, from the day one. So they have a real environment there in order to be world famous, in order to be highly skilled conductors. And then, of course, since we are very introvert persons, and then they go home and then practice in isolation also those scores and partitures alone. So therefore, we have achieved that kind of success stories. Thank you, and now I shift the floor to my friend, please.
Thank you, Elina. And I think it's a very difficult battle, a difficult chase to be able to, as a vet system, to be able to follow the developments in the labor market, in industry, especially with the introduction of new technologies and artificial intelligence. It's a tough task. But as you heard earlier on from the previous speakers, VET is not only about that. VET is not only about skilling. VET is about the societies. VET is about the economy. VET is about the individuals as well who choose that pathway. And I think we need to look at that sort of holistic picture in order to have a full judgment of what goes wrong and what needs further improvement. In the work we do at the European Training Foundation, we work with many countries all around the world. And the emphasis is to support the work they do in developing their VET reforms. So the key question here is, okay, if we all agree that VET needs to continuously improve, how do you do that? I think we have a living example, the Basque Country. They've been doing that for a few decades now. It takes leadership to do that, and you have seen that. It's been demonstrated over years. Continuity of leadership is important. You have seen a vision, knowing where you want to be, and a vision that keeps adjusting to the developments we have. You have seen a strategy, and it was mentioned this morning, both from the EU recognizing the need of the strategy, how to reach that vision, but also from the minister. You have seen the backing, you have seen the governance, including financing behind that. This is something you don't see in many systems, in many countries around the world. So ingredient number one, in order to change VET, to improve VET, to meet these needs. Ingredient number two, partnerships. LCAMP is a project under Erasmus+. You need Erasmus+, you need the initiative to create projects under Erasmus+, you need the connections to make that project flourish, and you need another step, once that project finishes, to make it systemic. Do we have all that in place? In some cases we do. There's a lot of work to be done. You need partnerships that a few decades ago they were not the most obvious ones. Nowadays, if you want to run a VET system, you really need to be close to industry. And we're used to, when we say industry, to mean the big companies, but Elena, I think the backbone of the economy is actually the small and medium enterprises. So how do we work closely with small and medium enterprises that they don't have the big HR units, they don't have many staff, they don't have the opportunity to do their own research for innovation. So how do you do that? That's a big question. Actually, we will address that point in the first workshop later on, how you do applied research from centers of vocational excellence. And this is a partnership under another Erasmus Plus COVES project, which is called Mosaic. So number two is partnerships. Number three is capacity of the systems. What we see in the countries we work is that sometimes you have a lot of policies, but there's actually a congestion of policies. There's no capacity from the systems as such to move from policy to implementation. So that is, again, something that we need to look at. I think Arevalo, in his speech, he mentioned names, colleagues who are sitting here with us. This is the capacity. You are the capacity. The people that are ready to implement that, and that is not for granted. It takes years to develop, to build these teams. And the last point, and that's where I want to say one word more, is about you need models. You need to see what others are doing, and you need to build those partnerships in order to develop something for your own country, for your own region. This is the reason why a group of colleagues from Finland, Elena and others, last year we went all the way to Canada to see the model of applied research in Canada. We have studied the Technica model as well here in the Basque Country. We have studied other models as well in Singapore, production units. How do they do that? These are models, and they are founded on the logic of vocational excellence. We tend to call them centers of vocational excellence, COVES. This is a model of how all the elements of skills ecosystem, they come together. The industry, the policy making, municipalities, the vet schools, the different partners, sometimes research centers, universities, SMEs, and so on. Skills ecosystem, you need all of those. And the centers of excellence, the COVES, you will hear a lot about that these days. They accomplish that. In our research, at EU level and at the European Training Foundation, we have identified globally something like 23 characteristics of what centers of vocational excellence do. Sometimes there were 25, sometimes there were 19, depending on how you group them, how you map them. But let me tell you which is number one of those characteristics, is the business, education, collaboration. Business of the vet school with industry. That's number one. There is no COVES all around the world that doesn't do that. The quality of its teachers. Number two. There is no COVES all around the world that doesn't train or rely on the quality of its teachers. Infrastructure, ability to connect partnerships, development of curricula and update of curricula. These are all characteristics of COVES. And there is one that is a bit hidden. Not many do that. It's called applied research. Imagine that the Center of Excellence today can actually do applied research, take needs straight from industry, use its teachers, its students, researchers from outside to respond to that challenge, to that need. And there are models. Technica does applied research as well. But by doing so, our study and the paper we will present later on shows that you can help the SMEs grow. So the myth that VET doesn't create jobs remains a myth. You can actually create jobs through VET that has those characteristics. And this is what we wanted to bring to you today. Let me thank again the government of the Basque Country. Let me thank again LCAMP, Technica, on all the parts in this invitation. We're looking forward to see you later on. We will be presenting the paper in big detail in workshop 1 this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Elina and Georgios. It was really interesting. Well, learner-centric advanced manufacturing proiektuak ikaskuntza eredu berriak garatzen ditu lanbide heziketan, ikaslea erdigunean jarriz, hori beti, eta fabrikazio aurreratuaren arloko gaitasunak santzakegu modu praktikoagoan lantzeko helburuz. Next, we will hear about learner-centric advanced manufacturing, an Erasmus Cove project. This project develops new learning models in vocational education, placing the learner at the center and promoting a more practice-oriented approach to skills development in advanced manufacturing. First of all, we're going to watch a short video.
How can the advanced manufacturing sector be transformed? Would you like to be part of the future of advanced manufacturing? The advanced manufacturing sector is being transformed. Jobs are changing. Skilled workers will play a key role in the factories of the future. Therefore, a new set of skills is demanded. Towards a digitized society, human-centric, resilience and sustainability skills are central. Then join LCAMP. LCAMP is the European platform of Centres of Vocational Excellence of Advanced Manufacturing, known as COVI, and offers a full set of services for our stakeholders. VET centres, learners, SMEs and local authorities will benefit from LCAMP. Thanks to LCAMP, VET centres will have access to collaborative learning factories. Furthermore, VET centres will learn how to set up their own LFs. Teachers will improve their competencies in Industry 4.0 and 5.0 and will connect with their international peers. An open innovation community will foster applied research and offer new, attractive study programs as well as skills for the digital era. Creativity, critical thinking, polyvalency, teamworking, interdisciplinarity, sustainability mindsets. LCAMP is there for regional SMEs and big enterprises and reskilling their current workforce. Definition of skill gaps for new jobs and learning paths for upskilling workers. Training catalogues. Support on digital transitions through ADMA scans and implementations. The LCAMP Skills Observatory will define the current skills trends and gaps. The open innovation community will promote applied research and build transformative partnerships between COVIs and SMEs. With the community and the observatory established, LCAMP will offer learner-centric training courses. To accelerate these learning opportunities in advanced manufacturing, LCAMP will create internationally connected collaborative learning factories. The platform will be a one-stop shop for accessing all the services, data and information gathered throughout the project, and it will allow all users to access all the services that LCAMP will offer. Collaboration between individuals is a key element of LCAMP. The platform will provide tools to assist collaboration on transnational projects and instruments to aid the sharing of resources. To sustain this collaborative approach, LCAMP will set up an alliance permanently connecting vet centres, industrial clusters and policymakers. LCAMP is not just a European project with a finite life. It will become the VET European reference platform for knowledge generation and exchange in the advanced manufacturing sector. Help transform the future of the advanced manufacturing sector. Join LCAMP.
And after this visual presentation, we're pleased to welcome Inge Gorostiaga, Director of Digital Transformation and Advanced Learning at the Department of Education of the Basque Government. Please welcome Inge.
Egunon, like we say in our country, good morning to all of you. As Nerea mentioned, yes, I'm the Director of Digital Transformation and Advanced Learning at the Basque Department of Education of the Basque Government. But Nerea, what you did not mention, that I'm also the legal representative of the LCAMP project. Over the next 20 minutes, I will speak from these both roles, as the person responsible for LCAMP, and of course, as a representative of the Basque government. I will share the main ideas behind the LCAMP project, what it has achieved over the past 4 years, as well as how the Basque government has supported and embedded these initiatives at a regional level. Don't forget that Basque Country is a region. Our Basque vet system found a very natural fit with the initiatives of centers of vocational excellence. For this reason, we've transformed many elements of the COVE project into regional initiatives founded by Vice Ministry of Vocational Education and Training. This is a story of regional impact aligned with Europe. It is also a story of sustainability, a story of how a European project becomes part of our region, the Basque Country. And above all, I hope this is a story that all of you will find interesting. Around 2017, the European Commission launched a study to identify what makes a vet system excellent. And it reached 3 conclusions, which now are recognized as a definition of a COVE. According to the study, centers of vocational excellence are vet systems that are aligned with regional strategies. As you can see, smart specialization strategies, go beyond training. As the ministry said, we should provide training and, apart from training, offer additional services in our centers, such as entrepreneurship support and collaboration with companies. Essentially, they are multifunctional centers. And finally, these excellent systems operate, as we have listened today many times, through strong collaborations with other organizations, including companies, universities, technology centers, other schools, governments, and wider stakeholders. So this definition closely matches our own BED system. The Basque BED model, like Jorge said before, is built on 4 pillars. Training, of course, but innovation, entrepreneurship, and internationalization. These are our 4 pillars. And our new 2030 Basque BED strategy is fully aligned with the principles of COPS. The strategy includes 5 strengths, 20 strategic objectives, and 37 actions with indicators. The strategy provides a clear roadmap for our region, the Basque Country. It's designed to inspire action and set direction. And it is strongly aligned with what we've learned through the development of COPS. If you look at this strategy, you will see that working in networks, collaborating with other actors, and of course, offering multiple services to society is at the core of our approach. Because don't forget that Basque vocational education and training has been and will continue being at the service, as Jorge said, of people and society. And as you will see today, this is also the approach we've followed in LCAMP. Sorry. Coming back to COPS, the European Commission rightly recognized, and we fully agree, that these excellent regional systems need to be connected at a European level. Otherwise, there is a risk of becoming too inward-looking or too isolated. European platforms of centers of vocational excellence were therefore created to connect strong systems and, of course, help others to improve. The first pilot call was launched under the Erasmus Plus as part of the Sector Skills Alliance. And because the COPE initiatives matched our needs perfectly, we applied for the EXAM 4.0 project and later for its continuation, LCAMP. In 2019, only 5 projects were selected, and EXAM 4.0 was one of them. Many of the current LCAMP members, such as DHBW, Kurt Nicolin, EARLAL, and AFM, were already involved at that stage. Then, EXAM ended in 2021, and that same year, we applied for LCAMP, which has been running since 2022 and will conclude in June this year. Of course, there are many sectors, and we could have focused on many different sectors, but we choose advanced manufacturing because it is a strategic, because it is a strategic priority for both the Basque government and for Europe. It is a key component of our smart specialization strategy, and it is essential for economic development, employment, innovation, and social well-being. And of course, we have a strong base of vet centers specializing in this field, which give us significant expertise. So we have many reasons, and despite this strong starting point, we realize, fully aligned with the European Commission diagnosis, that we lacked European networks, where our vet centers could connect with others working in advanced manufacturing. This is why we applied for the project, to connect what we consider a strong regional cove with others across Europe. Over the years, through Exam 4.0 and LCAMP, we've developed many activities. In essence, we've adopted a holistic, ecosystem-based approach, both regional and European, where what we learn through international collaboration, of course, is applied locally, here in the Basque Country. We've focused on key aspects of advanced manufacturing related to skills, and today I will give you 4 examples. The observatory. We know that jobs, technologies, and companies are constantly evolving. So what new skills are needed, or how do green and digital transitions affect advanced manufacturing? Difficult questions, of course. And to address these questions, LCAMP has developed an observatory. This observatory has produced several reports over the years. But today, we are here in the Basque Country, and I will like to share with you how we implement it. At a regional level, 15 teachers from 10 vet centers interviewed more than 20 companies, mostly SMEs. This work is not possible without centers, and Armería Eskola, Goierri Eskola, IMH, Miguel Altuna, Tartanga, Tolosaldea, Politécnica Txorierri, Zornotza, Egibide, and Usurbil were involved on it. For anyone interested, you will have the opportunity to attend a workshop this afternoon. Second, skills and job profiler. This tool translates the insight from the observatory and formal qualification into practical framework. It connects skills to occupations, training programs, and micro-credential, making them more visible and adaptable. Once again, there is a workshop this afternoon. And innovation. We have talked a lot about innovation. Open innovation community. We know that innovation happens through collaboration. We've created a community that brings together vet centers and companies to work on applied innovation projects. Only here in the Basque Country, 14 SME collaboration projects have been carried out involving 8 vet centers, which are Don Bosco, Gizarte Berrikuntza, Politécnica Txorierri, Maristak, Izarraitz, Laudealde, Zulaibar, and Escuela de Hostelería de Bilbao. Once again, you could attend a workshop this afternoon. And finally, you have seen them in the video, learning factories. Advanced manufacturing, as you know, requires flexible, highly skilled workers. The learning factory model responds to this by creating realistic production environments in vet centers. Students work on integrated real-world projects combining digitalization, sustainability, and, of course, collaboration. Today, 22 vet centers in the Basque Country are working this model, and you will have the opportunity to attend a workshop in the afternoon. Once again, the schools Andramari, Zornotza, Barakaldo, Tartanga, Laudioalde, Lanbideskola, Bidasoa, San Jorge, IMH, Don Bosco, Aretxabaleta Lanbideskola, EASO Politeknikoa, Tolosaldea, Armería, Armería Eskola, Miguel Altuna, Txurdinaga, Jurreta, Bidebieta, Usurbil, Elorrieta Rekamari, Gizarte Berrikuntza, Mendizabala, and Izarraitz. I will have a few words in Basque for these centers. Eskerrik asko ikastetxeei egiten duzuen lan guztiagaitik, zuek egiten duzuen lanagabe, ez da posible horrelako proiektuak aurrera eramatea. Ez LCAMP, ez beste proiektu bat ere. Orduan, nik ez dut areto guztia txalokatzen jarriko zuentzat, baina txalo bero bat eta sailburu ordetzatik gure eskerrik beroena ikastetxeentzat. All these examples show two clear things. First, LCAMP has contributed to building a European skills ecosystem in advanced manufacturing, very important. And secondly, at a regional level, in the Basque Country, we've made a strong commitment to ensuring real impact. How? By involving schools, companies, and of course, public authorities. 20 minutes are not enough to explain everything we've done, but as I said before, this afternoon you will have the opportunity to explore these initiatives in more detail during the workshop. Before I finish, I would like also to mention the LCAMP Alliance. We've created an international network that will continue beyond the end of LCAMP. You will find more information on our stand, where my colleague, Alicia, will be happy to speak with you. With this alliance, our aim is simple, very simple, to continue what we've started, and please pay attention, to keep this collaboration open to new partners. Let me conclude with a short, very short, personal reflection. If we want the COVE initiative to succeed in Europe, we need real impact. Funding should go to projects that can deliver impact, not only to those that are well written. In times of artificial intelligence, this is even more important. My message to the European Commission would be continue supporting COVES, of course, but demand impact. And if it is not impact, funds should be returned. We need results, not just words. Thank you very much. Mila esker, espero dut egun hauetan asko ikastea eta disfrutatzea, and I hope all of you enjoy this conference. Thank you.
Eskerrik asko, Inge, mila esker. Tira, lan merkatu berdeago eta jasangarriago baldortzeko bidean erabakigarria da, lanbide heziketa. Eta hori aztertuko dugu segidan, datuekin eta frogekin guzti hori esku artean. We will now explore the role of vocational education and training in supporting a greener labor market based on data and evidence. We are pleased to welcome Elisa Mohamedou, head of the Center for Skills at the OECD. Please welcome Elisa.
Good morning, everyone. Let me just start by thanking the organizers, and particularly Begonia and Inge, for this. I have to say what I have seen yesterday in Technica and other schools is really, really impressive of what the Basque government is doing. I want to take you through a few elements relating to what actually VET means now in the current economy. So, and just to mention, the slides that I will show today are also available in Spanish, and the organizers will be sharing them as well in the next days. So, you've heard already this morning that the demand for certain skills is accelerating, and we're really talking a lot more now today about what a skills-led industrial transformation means, and it really requires strong reskilling and upskilling efforts, drawing on higher education, VET, and higher VET. And I think it's important to really look into this as an ecosystem. So what we're seeing is that the demand for digital skills is rising across nearly every sector. AI skills alone are projected to grow by around 60% by 2030. And at the same time, the green transition could create about 24 million new jobs globally. So this means that the challenge that we're facing in these labor markets is not simply job creation. I think it's really, and that's where I would like to focus the conversation, it's really about how we can mobilize the skills that are required for these transitions. And I think what makes particularly the current moment interesting is that green jobs are actually linked to digital jobs. So we're talking a lot about these transitions, but for us, they are both linked. Now, the green and digital transitions complement each other. Both rely on innovation, digital tools, and specialized skills. The deployment and operation of green technologies requires a robust ICT infrastructure and workers with very strong digital competencies. So if you think about digital solutions like smart meters, they play a key role in improving energy efficiency in high-emission intensive sectors like cement, steel, and chemicals. And what we're seeing in the research we're doing is that the regions that are facing the strongest labor shortages in green jobs also tend to have higher tightness in ICT jobs. So it really looks at, what we're saying is this dynamic link between the two labor markets, both the green and the digital. So if you look at a region with 10% higher green job tightness, that shows typically an 18% higher tightness as well in ICT jobs compared to the average level of labor of regional job tightness. So this is really important for us because we're looking at both these transitions together. And part of the observed correlation may also result from the overlap in occupational classifications, because some roles are actually considered both green and digital. So the green transition, yes, here we go. The green transition is actually changing jobs, and that change is not even across sectors and regions. VET sits at the center of the response for us. Across the OECD, around 1 in 5 workers is already employed in jobs affected by the green transition. So this ranges from about 15% in some countries to more than 25% in others. At the same time, around 6% of workers are in high-emission occupations, so jobs that are likely to decline. So the key point here is really that the green transition is already a major labor market reality. It's not a future trend, it's already here. So this is not a small part of the labor market. So it really is for us important to look into what do these new jobs look like. So what's important is that most green jobs are not new. What makes green and existing jobs appear new is the fact that their content is changing and demand is rising. So around 46% of existing jobs where the skills requirements are changing. Another 40% of jobs are jobs where demand is increasing, but the tasks themselves are not fundamentally changing. And only about 14%, so 1/4, are entirely new occupations. So, in fact, around 2 in 3 green jobs are not even experiencing major changes in tasks. So the transition is not about creating entirely new jobs, it's often about transforming existing ones. And the green transition is not about fewer or newer jobs, a lot of the headlines that we hear. It's really about different jobs. It's about different places and requiring different skills. And that is particularly important for us when we're then talking about vocational education and training. This slide illustrates what we mean when we say that the green transition transforms existing jobs rather than creating entirely new ones. So if you think about it, in many cases, occupations remains the same, but the tasks performed and the skills required evolve. For example, electricians are increasingly involved in the maintenance of electric vehicles and the installation of charging infrastructure. In the construction sector, workers are not necessarily moving into new occupations. Instead, their work is increasingly focused on energy renovation and improving the energy efficiency of buildings. Industrial technicians are also seeing their roles evolve, with a stronger emphasis on energy efficiency and the maintenance of more sustainable machinery and production processes. So, similarly as well, and there are tons of examples, but in the transport sector as well, technicians must adapt to electrification and new environmental standards, progressively replacing traditional technologies. So the key message is that the green transition is primarily a transformation of tasks and skills rather than a large-scale replacement of jobs. And this really underlines the critical importance of reskilling and upskilling through vocational education and training. The green skills pipeline is both small and unequal. So green skills are not entirely new. They're often existing technical, transversal, and behavioral skills applied in new ways. Transversal skills, or transferable how-to skills, as some of them are now calling them, that can be used across many jobs and sections. And they're not specific to one occupation, and in the green transition, these might include problem solving, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, adaptability, systems thinking. Then we have the behavioral skills, which are more about how people tend to act or respond in practice. And they relate to habits, to attitudes, motivations, and dispositions. And in your green skills framing, these might include, for instance, the willingness to change routines, the sense of responsibility, initiative, persistence, openness to sustainable practices, pro-environmental attitudes. But then the issue we have is that the share of young people reaching even basic levels is limited. So only a little bit above 30% of 15-year-olds reach baseline environmental competence, and this is coming from the OECD PISA studies. Just about a little bit more than 10% reach the advanced levels needed for the green innovation. And this inequality behind is striking. 46% of advantaged students meet foundational levels compared to a little bit more than half of that number for disadvantaged students. Attitudes also matter. Students with stronger environmental awareness show much higher rates of energy-saving behaviors, signaling how mindset and innovation shape actually real-world action. So the takeaway is that the pipeline into green skills is narrow, it's uneven, and already stratified long before young people actually enter the labor market. So the demand for green skills is rising faster than the supply, Green job postings, we did some study around looking into job vacancies focusing on green jobs. They're growing nearly twice as fast as the number of workers gaining green skills. So job postings requiring green skills grew about 22 to 24% year on year, while the share of workers acquiring green skills only grew 12%. But again, the issue we have is that only 1 in 8 workers today has even one green skill, and this is based on the LinkedIn global analysis of about 930 million workers. Because they're so scarce, these workers with green skills are almost 30% more likely to be hired. And looking ahead, the global green talent pool will need to double by 2050 to meet net zero goals. So now, if demand is rising faster than supply, the next question is, where are these shortages showing up? And the answer is almost everywhere. Let's look at how hard it is to fill green jobs across regions. This chart here illustrates a consistent pattern. Green jobs are harder to fill in nearly every region. Across OECD data, green roles are 44% more difficult to fill than the average job. In fact, 90% of regions face stronger shortages specifically in green occupations. These shortages reflect broader skills gaps that are slowing the pace of the green transition. This is really one of the crux of the issues that we have around this green transition. We also see strong regional differences. In Europe, for example, shortages are about 40% higher than the global average. So this is also a region where this is an issue. So the message is clear. The challenge isn't just creating green jobs, it's finding the skilled workers needed to fill them. Now that we've seen how widespread green skills shortages are, the next question is which workers are actually carrying the weight of the transition. And the data, again, here is quite clear. VET graduates are right at the center of both the opportunity and the risk. So VET graduates are deeply embedded in the green transition. Across OECD countries, 1 in 3 young people holds an upper secondary VET qualification, and 1 in 4 VET graduates works in green-driven jobs. So these roles concentrate in key decarbonization sectors: constructions, energy, transport, and manufacturing, where VET talent is essential. So VET graduates are actually more likely than tertiary graduates to be in these green-driven jobs, and which underscores how central, again, vocal pathways are to meeting climate and industrial objectives. This slide here highlights a critical mismatch that we see. Regions gaining green jobs are not the same regions facing the greatest risks from job loss. So high-emission jobs remain more concentrated in rural and industrial areas, while the new green jobs are growing primarily in urban and high-skilled regions. So this means that some places, typically cities, will benefit from new opportunities, while others, often rural or industrial regions, face higher transition risks. In other words, the geography of job creation and the geography of job displacement don't align. And that creates a policy challenge, ensuring the transition supports regions that stand to lose the most, not only those that stand to gain. But there's also an essential policy point. Not all green jobs require the same VET response. And I think some of the predecessors also talked about this as well. The green transition, for instance, creates several distinct categories of jobs, and each one demands a different adjustment in training system. We really now, the more we talk about VET, the more we need to have adjusted policies and not a sort of a one policy for all. For green jobs with rising demand, for instance, the occupation stays the same, but more people are needed. So there, VET systems mainly need to expand training capacity. For green jobs where tasks are changing, The job itself remains, but the skill requirements evolve. And here, the priority is updated curricula. So workers learn these new tools, the technologies, and practices that the transition requires. For entirely new green jobs, which there are, vet systems need to create new programs and qualifications or significantly revise existing ones. And finally, for green gas-intensive jobs that are declining, the key response is to reskill workers, so helping them move into growing areas in the labor market. So the core message here is really that vet transformation is not a one-size-fits-all. It must respond differently depending on whether jobs are expanding, whether they're changing, whether they're emerging, or whether they're disappearing. But we have a fundamental challenge. Our current training systems are not built for the pace or the scale of the green transition. Training today is often too short and too shallow. More than 40% of all training lasts just 1 day. That's just nowhere near enough for the kinds of skills shifts that this transition requires. A second issue is often the weak connection to employers. This is not the case, I think, in the Basque region, where the link is really very strong from what we've seen. But in many other regions, that is an issue. So regions with strong public-private skills partnerships, they have about 30% higher participation in work-based learning. That link is essential. This tells us that employer involvement is key to scaling and targeting training where it's actually needed. And overall, adapting training systems means moving from short, one-off course to systemic, employer-linked reskilling that can support the real labor market challenge that we see. Now, countries are approaching the green transition through vet systems. They tend to focus on 4 core priorities that I wanted to leave you with. First, anticipate. This means using strong skills intelligence systems to guide training decisions. We need the data. We need to analyze the data. And the Basque Country, I think, is a really good example with sophisticated data dashboards that Inge just mentioned to us as well. There are other countries. Ireland has also built this into the Green Skills 2030 strategy. Second, adapt. As tasks change, curricula needs updating. And here again, the Basque Country links vet centers directly with firms through real projects with results, as was just mentioned, while other countries like the UK and Austria also embed green skills development in apprenticeships. Third, expand. Key transition sectors, whether it's energy, construction, mobility, they need more apprenticeships and more training capacity. Here again, the Basque Country, I think, already has a strong work-based learning model. But you have other examples as well. The UK and Ireland are also scaling green training programs. And finally, protect. Workers in high-emission sectors need support to move into these new roles. The Basque Country highlights the need of an aging workforce, but there are also other examples of Canada and Croatia often have also these targeted retraining measures. I think together these 4 priorities outline how vet systems can respond to both the opportunities and the needs of the green transition. So let me close with a small recap. The green transition, I think, is fundamentally a skills transition. First, most green jobs are not new jobs. They are existing roles with tasks that are changing. This means workers will need upskilling for more than replacement. Second, skills demand is outpacing supply, so employers are moving faster than training systems, creating shortages among many regions and sectors. Third, the transition is local and uneven. Great opportunities cluster in certain regions, while others face higher exposure to high-emission jobs and fewer emerging roles. And because of all of this, vet systems are absolutely central. They are the bridge between shifting job tasks, employer needs, and workers who must adapt quickly to new technologies and practices. And let me close again by thanking you for the time and engagement today. And I think it's really, as both the green and the digital transitions are accelerating, the skills challenges we've discussed are only becoming more central to the economic resilience and competitiveness. And the OECD Center for Skills, I've left the QR code where we have quite a few analyses that we'll be happy to share with you as well. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Elisa Mohavedou. We're going to continue. We're going on. Europa osoko herrialdeak ari dira lanean prestakuntzaren, gaitasun eta industria ekosistemaren eraldaketaren inguruan, gaur esku artean dugun gai honen inguruan. Segidan, Lombardian egiten ari diren adibide zehatz bat ezagutuko dugu lurrera, jaitsiko gara. We will now learn more about what is being done in Lombardy in the fields of training, skills development, and industrial transformation. So let's welcome to the stage Alessandro Marini from AFEL, Lombardy Intelligence Factory Association.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, this is me. Let's start. Let's start with one thing. That is the one word that we heard a lot this morning. That is vocation. And what I can say to you that is Lombardy has a long tradition in manufacturing, very long tradition in manufacturing, and we as AFEL have been created as an entity to help Lombardy region to develop and to sustain the manufacturing ecosystem in Lombardy. And this is what's happening now as numbers in terms of problems with labor shortage and mismatch in the demand and in offer demand in manufacturing. So what was a vocation now is a big problem. So this means that, let's say, 70% of what the companies are looking for in the labor market in manufacturing is not filled, or is difficult to fill. So it's difficult to have people for the shop floor. It's difficult to have people for internal logistics. It's difficult to have people working for planning. And these are the most part, you see here, 19%, 20% of the people that the offering of work in Lombardy. So it means that was in the past a vocation. Is not a vocation. It's not the people who don't work to work. We have problems to fill the gaps with the people working in our companies. This in Italy, this is the number in Italy, 44 billion euro is the estimated cost of not having these people working for the companies. And Lombardy is, let's say, 25% of the GDP in Italy. Let's say there is something between 12 and 15 billions only for Lombardy. That's of value, of cost, not having these people working for the companies. And I would like to start with this because, you know, in Lombardy now we have an unemployment that rate that is more or less between 4 and 5%. So it's very low. And the problem is everywhere, in anything, in healthcare, in tourism, but in all the rest of the services. But the big problem is that as Lombardy is a very intense manufacturing region, this problem is going to be hard for us to afford. And I would like to link this on what is the LCAMP project, and I thank you very much, the LCAMP and especially Technica, to involve AFEL in this project, to take our experience, especially in this Work Package 7, where AFEL has been taken to take our experiences, for example, with methodologies for developing strategy for the development of the companies. As Eliza was telling before, is the linkages between green jobs and digital jobs. This is important. The smart factory, we say, what is the, in Italian we say fabbrica intelligente, intelligent factory. What is a factory, intelligent factory? It's not only a digital factory, it's a smart factory. It's also a factory for the people. It's a factory for the environment. It's all of these things. And AFIL, this is the reason why AFIL was formed, to help the company to have the transition towards a more sustainable factory and more digital factory. And this is what we had, and we were working a lot in this ADMA methodology from 2018, from where ADMA methodology came out, from 2018. And you can see these are two interesting things in the ADMA methodology that was taken into the LCAMP project to create a framework of understanding what are the important things that have to be taken into a factory. And these are the 7 transformation areas. There are 7 dimensions that have been developed and analyzed in each company to understand how advanced is their manufacturing way of doing the things. And you see these 7 dimensions, this is based on the capability maturity model methodology, that if you know this, it's very interesting because CMM, capability maturity model methodology, helps you to understand what is needed to go from a level to another. So you can understand how to go there. And the second thing very important is that after having this scan to understand your position, you have a transformation plan, so you define your strategic priority to become a factory of the future, and then create an implementation plan. And that's what we have done in the project together. All the partners of the project have performed, I've already did this. All the partners of the project have performed 59 scans into the companies to see what's happened, to create a baseline of understanding of how to use these kind of things, or this kind of information that came out of from these scans, to help the schools to create a training catalog. So the idea of creating 109 activities that are linked to the training catalogs, that will be something that have to be developed in the schools to help form or skill for the young, or reskill for the other employees, the people toward the factory of the future. And this is what is very linked to what we are in AFIL, in Lombardy. In AFIL, we are structured as a daily work in strategic communities. What are for these strategic communities? The strategic communities are work groups made by members of AFIL that discuss about the technologies that are good for the manufacturing sector in Lombardy to improve our ability to stay on the market or to be competitive. But on the other side, what we do is that we try to put into these 5 big work groups the problem of the transition to digital transformation and sustainable manufacturing. This is very much linked to what we have done in ADMA, using the ADMA methodology. It was something that was helping us to put this into our strategic communities, and these strategic communities worked on that, defining what had to be done for anyone, working with the universities, working with in Italy we have an organization that is called technology institutes, our superior technology institutes, to form technical people to go to work in the manufacturing. To work also with the secondary schools, people from 16, 70 years, and to work with them, with the schools, to make them understand how they have to form the people that are right for manufacturing. This is what we do in AFIL, and this is what we hope we have been able to take into the LCAMP project, and especially to consolidate for the future, for what will be in the future the LCAMP, the next level of LCAMP. This is very important. So I go to conclusions. They've told me you have to be fast because we are late. So I go to the conclusion, but it is ADMA. It's really, I think it's been a value for LCAMP because we have been able to together to understand better which are the needs for the development of the advanced manufacturing throughout Europe, and probably the ADMA scans can help not only the schools, but also the company that want, in some way, the ADMA is something that has been developed at European level, so is available for everyone, and it can be used by everyone to understand which can be the strategy of the development for a company, for a factory, to become more modern, more future-looking. And the interesting thing is the capability maturity model that is inside the methodology can help very much to understand what is needed to improve, and especially on let's say, organizational side, human side, and sustainability side. And let's say, I would say, hope LCAMP Alliance will be able to profit from this. And we are ready. Thank you very much for involving us in this. We are really honored to be part of the project and hope to be helpful and participant in the future development of these methodologies and these things that have been developed during the project. Thank you very much, and good work to everyone. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Alessandro Marini. Tira, fabrikazio aurreratuan ikasleek egiten duten ibilbidea aztertuko dugu jarraian. We now move to the next session, focusing on a student's journey in advanced manufacturing. So we are pleased to welcome Professor Klaus-Dieter Rupp from Duale Hochschule, Baden-Württemberg. So let's give him a round of applause.
So, thank you for the introduction. And now I will talk about the project of LCAMP and maybe a little more on perspective of the student, of a learner who is involved in the project. And Mila will help me to do that. She will make the introduction. You have some sound?
Through the collaborative learning factory within LCAMP. My name is Mila. I'm 27 and work on the manufacturing shop floor. With a foundational vet background, I was well prepared until Industry 4.0 arrived. Suddenly, data-driven production, IoT, and digital systems outpaced my training. I experienced the lag effect, the gap between traditional curricula and real industrial needs. My role shifted from manual tasks to managing data and complexity. LCAMP changed this. Through modular learning, micro-credentials, and international collaboration, I now build the digital and green skills needed for Europe's future workforce. Please welcome Professor Klaus-Dieter Rupp, who will share this journey in more detail.
And Mila was not very happy because he has a lack of this knowledge, and she's 27 and he's looking for a new perspective and new challenges to do something. She's highly motivated and she wants to do something. So as we already have seen, we have this gap in between the development of this Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0 development and the development of our education systems. They are normally a little slower. So we have a pace of change, we have new realities, and we have the required mix in internationalization and all this stuff. That's all challenges for Mila. And we are facing all these problems inside the LCAMP project. So the traditional ways, what we are doing is too rigid, too slow. It's weakly connected on the shop floor, so we see all the closed doors and the closed areas, and we have difficulties in combining that over the areas. And the normal end is a dead end, so we make maybe degrees on level 4, on level 5, or maybe bachelor degree, but nothing is connected, and it's academic, it's practical, normally only a little connected, more in vocational education, but not commonly. The new learner ways we need is modular progression, is a systematic approach. It's work-based with a lot of flexibility, and we need these stackable learning opportunities with open doors, with connections, and with all possibilities to move around. So the step through this learning journey is we start with identification with the skills assessment tool set to get what a learner already knows. Then we are looking for specific skill needs to develop in one region, maybe robotics or something else. We have a guide how to get there to become a robotics expert or something like that. We connect them with companies, with training centers, with universities. And at the end, we have a documentation, we have a recognition, and if somebody did a course, maybe here in Basque Country, he can use this recognition in Germany, in Sweden, and all the other countries. So what Mila really needs for this ecosystem, so she needs some translates skills, gaps in learning, and he has learning pathways to go there. She should combine theory and work-based experience practice. She should be supported progression across EQF levels. So normally the barrier between EQF level 5 and EQF level 6, and we want to combine it. We make learning visible, what she has really done, what skills she has, what competencies she has, and we want to do it across borders and institutions. So that's the same in the other area. No, one point maybe I will point out are the micro-credentials. That's a special new way of learning and packaging of knowledges, skills, and competencies in a structure. So normally we have uncertain regarding competencies and professional target roles. She has some experience in a company, did some jobs, and now she makes our self-assessment tool. She knows what are the targets and roles and what she wants to do, and then the skills become visible, gaps become actionable. So to get a real learning pathway through this journey. So in case of Mila, she recognized that in digital skills, cybersecurity is missing, AI capabilities are missing, the other three is good. In green skills, it's linked with the other ones. It's circularity, the circular processes, and in professional skills, it's fine. And maybe in traversal skills, he has to improve her adaptability to get more communication and to do something. So that's her plan to do that and to start with. So that's our offer. So we have this job target profile, maybe in green industries or other important industries. We have this nano credentials, that's single skills that could be trained in courses. We have this micro credentials, that's a little bigger, stackable courses to do that. And we have this modular learning units. So our first idea in the LCAMP project to have this cube, to this multidimensional view on the system. So we have here this idea, this model for our learning system from LCAMP. And it's enough. So typical what we have, this multidimensional stuff. So we have here 3 dimensions, the experience level from basic to expert to or advanced expert, and qualification level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and maybe the domain of skills from social work, manufacturing, pharmaceutic, everything else. It's not always, it's different. And so he has current skills, and it's moving now in a multidimensional area from a basic skill to a desired target where she wants to get and to work for later. So this is our ecosystem. We have in the middle, there's our manufacturing. At the ground, we have all this collaboration, connection over companies, COVES, universities, all the students and alumnus. And on the head, we have this abstract competencies goals and structure and research and development and pedagogical design, the technical infrastructure, and the international communication and the real assets we need, like our learning factory. And we are connected, so I have only a few of them, just made in Italy with AFIL, here Technica with Michel Atuna, the DHBW or Mechanic Valley in France. And we are collaborating in learning factories and exchange products, courses, knowledge, and also students. So here we have always this dual lens. We have seen it on a lot of slides. We have this local focus, and we have this connection and the global interchange and interaction in our project. And Mila's special experience is she is working maybe here in Altuna in the local walls, and she has the opportunity to open her mind for cross-border problem solving and transnational team connections inside the project, like students who are here, they have it now inside our LCAMP project. So this is now our learning factory, and I'm just walking with Mila through this learning factory to get to see her experience, what she is doing. We're starting with the life cycle of a product at the beginning of the product. So we have a configurator, so she's designing an individual robot now. She can do that, and it's her robot or the robot somebody ordered. At the next station, we make preparation, 3D printing, miling, watershed cutting, and other technologies to realize the product inside courses with the students. Then, next step, we have all this sensor integration, electrical integration, so it's a mechatronic product, so everything in the Industry 4 and 5.0 skills is integrated. And then we have this assembly using artificial tools to get the robot assembly. We have courses linked to these competencies, so it's a way through with the robot through all these parts in the project, and maybe the printing can be in France, the assembly can be here in Spain, and electronics can be in Sweden, and maybe here we have this digital management of the production with MES systems and artificial intelligence to handle all this stuff. And at the end, we have maybe a disassembly, so it's a circular economy. So we build the robots, we rebuild it, we build new robots, and we are just planning in all our processes this circular and green economy. And the color is dedicated for the Technica green colors. And so it's a Technica robot we designed as an individual part. So this is the result we built. So it's a small robot. Every student can do it, and it takes about 20 hours to build up one of these robots, and it's quite cheap. So most of the parts you can print in your own 3D printer, or they are very cheap sensors or other electronic systems to realize a very simple, cheap robot, which is affordable in any school. Then here we have these levels of the IQF levels. In level 3, we have the orientation, safe execution, basic digital awareness. We have the level 5, process integration, automatic execution, data information operation as the main skills, and EQF level 6, system thinking, optimization, digital production management, and advanced analytics. They could all be included in our learning factory, and for different learners, we are working on different stages. On the other side, we have this present, the significance, what we are doing, what we are learning. We have the future, what is the goal, what will I do or will learn, or what are the learning outcomes of this project. And we have the signature level, the strategic level, how we develop, how we go further, and how will it look next years. So we are going from project management to transnational coordination. We're going from process management to workflow design, from automation system to manufacturing execution systems, project logical controls, digital shop floor, what we call integration. We have this data science stuff with sensor darting, big data analytics, data science, and statistical functions. We have this logic and supply chain in this distributed environment from different countries, different schools, and make an exchange on the asset level, on the teaching level, and on the strategic levels. So the old logic was from content delivery. We make now competencies from isolated courses to connected pathways from one qualification level to another one, from location training to transnational legibility, from one-off learning to stackable lifelong learning development over EQF levels, over domains, and over experience levels. And we have from the passive participation to the learner-centered activities. So the learner goes through activities, not just a structure with a dead end for learners. So each learner, Mila is 27, to go her way through this learning structure. So we have also some challenges. They are left in our structure. So it's not very easy to combine the technical equipment in different schools and in different countries. We have this assessment formats that are different, especially in COVE and universities. We have this ECTS in universities. We have no ECTS system in COVE, so it's not easy to transfer credits or knowledges between EQF level 5 and 6. And we have this intercultural and transnational cooperation competencies. And so normally we need money to have all the student ability to work or to travel. It's possible, but it's restricted. And we have this circular and life cycle thinking to improve. So all this stuff we heard already in the speeches to have more green economy, sustainability, and other factors we need for the future. So
the LCAMP CLF opens the door to a career in advanced manufacturing by connecting learning with real industrial practice, international collaboration, and the skills needed for the future. It prepared me not just for a job, but for a versatile, confident, and globally relevant career.
So thank you for your attendance, and I hope it was possible to give you a small sight inside our LCAMP working, what we did inside the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, Professor. Tira, itzaldi interesgarriak entzun ditugu dagoeneko, gaur bildu gaituen gaiaren inguruan ikuspuntu desberdinetatik, hitz egin digutenak. Ongietorri berriro, welcome back. And before we move into our roundtable, I want to take a moment to bring something very special to this room. Just before the coffee break, we said that we scheduled a little surprise. Here we are, here we go with the little surprise. As we've been discussing all morning on how vocational education is transforming, how industries are changing, and how Europe needs a new generation of skilled professionals. The professionals are not abstract, the professionals are real, and some of them are young. And right now, some of them are just a few kilometers away from us in Santurtzi School. This week, from April 21st to the 24th, the LCAMP Student Hub Skill Competition is taking place right here in the Basque Country. This is hands-on international learning experience designed specifically for EQF Level 4 vocational education and training students. The group is made up of 37 students and 11 teachers from 5 countries: Sweden, Latvia, Italy, Slovakia, and the Basque Country. Together, they're just not visiting, they're competing, they're collaborating, and learning across cultures. Their week has been carefully structured. Actually, yesterday, April 21st, they were at Zubiri Manteo. Today, as we said, they are in Santurtzi Eskola. And tomorrow, April 23rd, they will walk into this very building, to Palacio Europa, where our ceremony will take place, and their achievement will be recognized. This is not a school trip. Of course, this is a European skill challenge in advanced manufacturing. And joining us now, live from Santurtzi, here are some of the students with us. Kaixo zuei eta ongi etorri, welcome to you. Can you hear us? Yes, hello. Well, you've been on the road since Sunday, different schools, different workshops, in different places too. In one word, how would you describe this week so far?
Enriching. This week has been very enriching for us.
Can you tell us briefly what the skill challenge looks like? What are you actually doing? What does a typical tasking competition involve?
First, we got to program a car to go around the square, and we got points to compete against each other. So we got points about how far we got.
You're working alongside students from different countries. We just said that. Has anything surprised you about how they approach a technical problem or how they work differently from you?
They don't work a lot more differently than we do. We have a lot in common about how we approach different problems.
In this room, we've been talking all morning about the skills that advanced manufacturing needs and will need in the future. When we're just down as someone actually training for this sector, what skill do you think is more underestimated or overlooked?
I think we need to learn how to use AI more efficiently and correctly to get more information.
Well, tomorrow you will come here to Palacio Europa, where we are right now for the award ceremony. What are you hoping to bring from this week, apart from maybe a trophy?
We got new knowledge and new friends to learn about other cultures and other countries.
Well, thank you very much. What you're doing this week is exactly what this conference is about. So we'll see you tomorrow right here at the Palacio Europa. So, eskerrik asko eta zorionak. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, those are students LCAMP is built for, and I must say that we also have some students here, 24 students. Where are you guys? From a blended intensive program on learning factories. Where are you? Here. How are you? Everything is going fine? You're taking the most of the program? Glad to hear that. Tira, mai inguru interesgarri bat izango dugu segidan, tokiko ekintzek nazioarteko eraldaketan duten eraginari buruz hitz egiteko hain zuzen. Let's move now to one of the key moments of the conference, the roundtable Local Change for Global Transformation, a strategic discussion on how local initiatives can drive global transformation. It is a real pleasure to welcome our moderator, Richard Gale, Director of Camosun Innovates and Camosun College in Canada. He leads applied research in advanced manufacturing, working with industry, students, and research teams across Western Canada and beyond. And joining him on this panel are Kenneth Barrientos, Cynthia Woldering, Daniel Kell, and Tim van der Woerd. So, Richard, whenever you want the stage, the floor is yours. Let's give them a big round of applause. They're coming, and we're going to install everything. As we say, local change for global connection.
Hello? Hello. I'm just going to speak loudly until the mic comes on.
And Tim will be on microphone as well.
Everyone good? Finally. Thank you all for having us here. We have a distinguished panel that we're going to be listening to and interacting with. From the beginning of the LCAMP project, the idea was that through global connection, we could improve the world on a local level. But we felt it was very important to also talk about the way that the world as a whole is being changed by the actions of local activities, local areas, local colleges, local organizations and initiatives. And so that is one of the main reasons that we're here today. And one of the things that came out of that collaboration was the robot that Klaus was talking about before. And we have a very small presentation to start first. Inigo? While that happens, let's go ahead and go on.
We're waiting for Tim still.
Oh, he's not there? Susanna?
Go to the stage?
Sure.
No. Go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Please.
30 seconds for waiting for the robot.
Many of the things that happened in LCAMP were improvised. You're seeing an example of that now. Oh, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm supposed to see that.
Oh.
You can make a moderation with a phone, so we just make the handover. I can say that we are doing.
Okay. So we wanted to have just a tiny little moment to hand over the robot that we've been working on collaboratively. There were 3 iterations of this robot. One of those iterations occurred in Germany. It was the first. The second iteration happened at Technica, and the third was in Canada at my institution. And this is a formal presentation of the robot to Inigo. Good. Before we begin, I do want to say, as the only person from Canada, thank you for having me. And it's very nice to be part of this, part of the LCAMP project as well. And as the only person from North America, my apologies. So our plan today is to start with introductions so you know a little bit more about the panelists, and then to go on to one kind of framing beginning question. From there, it may be a little bit freeform. It may be a little bit back and forth with the audience. There may be more questions. We have no idea. Let's begin. Next slide, please. Oh. Next slide. Behind. Grazie. Okay. 4 very distinguished panelists who are about to introduce themselves. Ken, you're on.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And I would like to first thank, of course, you for moderating this session and Technica for inviting all of us. I'm Ken Barrientos. I'm currently the head of the UNIVOC network. UNIVOC network is coordinated by UNESCO UNIVOC. So we are the specialized agency of the United Nations Education, Scientific, Cultural Organization, which is based in Paris, France, but we at UNESCO UNIVOC, we are based in Bonn, Germany. So our mission is to help member states of UNESCO upgrade their TVET systems through system-level support, policies, institutional program development, and network engagement. So we coordinate a network of about 252 institutions, and Technica is one of the very active members of this global network. And in this network, we have different types and categories. We have ministries, we have training providers, we have universities and research institutions. So this is speaking of a very diverse group of institutions that collaborate, engage with each other, and communicate and share what they are doing. So we support the members of the network through capacity building, through knowledge management. We develop guidance, tools, and resources that are useful for their work and for development of their systems and programs.
Excellent. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Daniel Kehl. I'm here with 3 different roles, and I'm happy that I'm also supported by 2 participants, also from Switzerland here. And all the 3 of us, I think we had an outside view on everything wonderful that happens in this LCAMP time in the last 3 or 3.5 years already. And I must say I'm very inspired by what you did so far. So talking about the 3 roles of myself, first, the role which gives me the monthly salary is I'm principal of vocational education and training school in St. Gallen in eastern Switzerland. We provide about 50 different occupations for 5,000 students, both in vocational and higher education. And my second role is I also represent the Swiss VET Directors Conference, where I'm in the board. And there is a different role, and I come back to that later. And the third role, and I'm very happy that there is a big crowd of people cheering me, is EFET. EFET, thank you very much. A lot of participants here. EFET, an umbrella organization, a very important umbrella organization where we as VET schools feel at home in Europe and the world. And EFET, I'm in the board and I'm the representative of the Swiss National Board in EFET, has an important role when it comes to the theme here. And the theme, and I liked it very much, is called Global Connection for Local Change. Okay, and on one slide, I think the organizer made a philosophic mistake. They wrote local change for global connection. And now I'm, as a principal, wondering, and there is a lot of representatives from schools, school boards, teachers here. What do you think is more important? Global connection for local change, or, and think carefully, local change for global connection? Please discuss it for 30 seconds. Two of you. You see, I'm a studied pedagogue, so that's what you are facing the next half hour. What is the more important point? Global connection for local change, or local change for global connection? At the end, I'll come up with a very clear answer, so please be careful.
I warned you, this would not be your usual session. Continue on from the room. Shall I go ahead? I'm just going to count 2.
You tell me.
Full minute, at least.
Okay, my answer is a very Swiss diplomatic one. Both are important. Yeah, you could know that by knowing me. But on the other hand, as a principal, I have to tell you, I saw so many important things we have to execute now, what you recognized and established with LCAMP. Therefore, I need local change. I need a change in the mindset of the 400 teachers in our schools to bring all these very important things, whether it's green transmission, whether it's AI, whether it's diversity, all of these into the school. And I can tell you, and I think I speak for all the principals and school board members here, change is always stressful and exhausting. And this is something we have to manage in everyday life. So it is super important that supranational organizations like LCAMP, like FED, give us a job to do with guidelines, with goals to follow. But at the end, we have to execute them on the level of our schools, and that is really challenging. Yes. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I think I would have the same answer. Both are essential. I represent Catapult. Catapult is a network of public-private partnerships throughout the Netherlands, about 500-600 of them. So that tells us two things, I think. That these maybe even local connections, so we can mess up the words in other ways as well. Local connection is really important of vet schools working together with companies on the challenges that we face in the region and also on a global phase. And that public-private partnership in the Netherlands is really important. That's what we see about these many public-private partnerships in the Netherlands. And also proud to see that many of them are also participating in many of the COVE projects. About 24 of them have partners from the Netherlands participating. So also this global connection is important for the Netherlands and for Catapult as well. My personal role is I'm responsible for what we call the knowledge program in Catapult. So what me and a few colleagues try to do is try to see what works in public-private partnerships and what models, what concepts do we see. For example, in lifelong learning, and we have a workshop about this in the afternoon as well. What works and how can we capture this knowledge, make it into new models and concepts that we can transfer to other partnerships. And I think that's really important for the future. So to scale up in this way what works, also to get to this global change that we actually need. So that's what we do at Catapult, and this public-private partnership is, as I said, really important for the future. So yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you. Do I have sound? I don't hear it. Yes? Okay. My name is Cynthia Wolmerink, also from the Netherlands, even though we are absolutely the minority here in this setting, in this Congress, but half of the panelists, or almost half of the panelists, are Dutch. My name is Cynthia Wolmerink. I work for a regional vet center in the Netherlands, in Arnhem, named after the River Rhine and the River IJssel. So the name is Rhijn-IJssel. Well, there we offer, among many other courses, because we have around 10,000 students, vet students in the school. Among many other courses, we offer international business studies. And in these international business studies, we implement a European Business Certificate. And the European Business Certificate is called EBBD. And we are not the only ones offering this certificate. Together with us, around 50 other colleges in Europe, spread over 10 countries, offer this certificate. Also, a college here in the Basque Country, in San Sebastián, Nazareth. My colleague Nereba Peña is here as well. And this EBBD program, and that is also, I think, well, the reason that I'm, not only the reason that I'm maybe in the panel, but the one that I want to represent here and to have the perspective in from this European business setting. It's a joint certificate in Europe, business and internationalization. And, well, we'll come to the questions later and the answers in this. and it's currently being updated. So it has a really European focus, and it currently is being updated with green competences, so one of the core topics here as well, and European digital credentials for learning. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. We're going to move straight into what I consider our prompting question, and it's a logical place to start. We have 4 experts from 4 different perspectives, 4 different ways of helping local interaction reach a global audience. And so we're going to start with, from your perspectives, what do we mean when we say that local change can lead to global connection?
I brought something for you, and I think at least the Basque representatives in here agree with me. I don't know whether you can read it, but it's written on Guasen Reala, whether I did say it right or not. Come on, guys. Thank you. This cup tells a whole story. Why me, as principal in my job, in my everyday job, I look for local change to get more global connection. And the Real Sociedad showed me everything in 90 minutes, and it was awful, plus overtime, and it was again awful, plus penalty time. So, what happened? I've been in Sebastian Saturday, just by chance, and I recognized there's something going on. So I went to the public viewing, and I bonded with a group of Basque students. They donated me this, filled up with beer. So the first half I've stayed with them, and I must tell you, in these 45 minutes, I learned more about Basque history and Basque culture than in 14 years of school studies and whatever in Switzerland. And it's really true. Let's combine it with local change. If we do send wet students abroad for 2-3 weeks, for 1 week, they will come back with more learnings than what they get in some places if we teach them 2 or 3 years. And this is one wisdom I learned as a principal. So we have to send them. So local change, creating a culture of exchange, gives me a kickback which is of high value. The second half I spent in a nearby bar because it was a little bit too packed there. And I randomly met a guy from Hungary who lives in San Sebastian. His son is playing with the under 12-year-old people at Real Sociedad already. And he was so grateful for, A, the elections in Hungary. Yes, come on, people.
Yeah.
Exactly. And secondly, for having the chance of being in San Sebastian, work there, have his son playing football there. And that showed me again something which is very important about the culture, openness. And this has to be created by us as schools. If we want global connection, we have to educate people in these values. And this is very important, and that's why we try every day. So I come back later to that cup, okay? Because there's something more in there.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, okay, just to continue, I don't have a cup to show, but of course, in case I speak about also the work that we are doing on greening and green transition, it's because I'm also wearing the hat of being the coordinator of our program on Green Tibet. So I will represent mostly the work of the network, but also some of the programs that I may give as an example would also lead to me sharing with you some of these initiatives. So I think for this question, it's also important for us to understand what local change means for different people, for different contexts. And I think for us, in the work that we do with the almost 152 countries, because our network is present in 152 countries, so Asia, Africa, Latin America, so what have you, also North America. This is all about overcoming systems level change and barriers. The barriers to really ensuring that governance structures are well equipped and are also well managed. Also, of course, funding. Overcoming these types of system-level barriers is one of the ways for us to really identify change at the local level. And many of our Univoc centers, the members of the network, are fortunately working towards really transitioning into this type of change. And we are seeing this in a lot of examples, in a lot of practices that we are collecting and we are also disseminating to all the member states. Second is also overcoming the walls of leadership inefficiencies, because local change could mean for some people really doing what you do with the available resources and with available constraints that you have at institution level. So these are important, and often they serve as a convergence point for really coming forward, sharing what you are doing in your own contexts, in your own development path, and sharing your stories, because many of the institutions that we work with, perhaps similar to what Daniel was saying, is that they look for good examples and practices. And I also heard this, of course, from Georgios earlier. The world needs good examples, and these examples are needed to inspire, to set directions, and to also, connect, because this is a very universal convergence point for many types of institutions to connect with each other. Once they see that there are good stories, there are good narratives that they feel they can relate with, this could always become a good point to connect and to be engaged globally.
It also speaks to the interrelationship, whether it's a green transition or whether it's advanced manufacturing or whether it's vocational training in general. These are the connections locally that then get to build on something greater, all the way towards global citizenship.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, as mentioned before, I approach this from a vet learner's perspective and especially from the international business, European business perspective. And when thinking about local change for global connection, I think it's really important to realize that, even for us, I think, but especially for the young learners as well, the global challenges, the uncertainty, the geopolitical challenges, the wars, the climate urgencies sometimes seem very overwhelming and too big to influence. So it's really, for us as educators, important to really see how to get it smaller, practical, and not necessarily saying we are going to challenge or face the global challenges, but really look at how we equip them, how we support them in equipping the skills. And we've heard a lot about the skills today and yesterday at Technica as well, the skills needed for them to navigate in it. And in this EBBD, and of course, just for you to know, it's not a commercial organization. I don't have any shares, but it's just saying that in this EBBD, Europe, business and internationalization are already core pillars, meaning that regarding LCAMP, European values, democracy, and also international competence are organically implemented in this already. Students go abroad and have international experience and face on a local level. Local doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, mean local in Arnhem. It can also be local in Spain or local in Germany. Yeah. Right where you are, face challenges and develop skills to become more open and open-minded individuals and with democratic values. And then in the end, I think the global connection will happen through the development as individuals, learning from rich learning experience in an international context. And I think that's needed for them to make it smaller, start where you are, and support them in these skills like critical thinking, we talked about it, problem solving, green competences, etc. So, this is how.
And competency and skill development is always something that occurs in dialogue as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make that at my transition to Tim.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit about that dialogue.
Well, I must say, regarding this question, I was really inspired by the presentation for the students before this panel, because I think this is really local change and for global connection in action, right?
Yeah.
Those students are in their country, in Finland, working on local challenges with the technologies of tomorrow. We literally had a global connection, sharing this with all of you here. And this is one of the things I've done in the past as well, from one of the COVI programs for European Platform for Urban Greening, for example. We've done this kind of hackathon in the Netherlands, but also in Denmark and other places, where you bring the students of different countries together, give them the challenges, the local challenges from companies around the region for Netherlands or Denmark or otherwise, and make them address those challenges, design solutions given the technology of today and tomorrow. And as far as what I see then is you understand each other's culture, because these groups are mixed from different cultures, students, different disciplines even, but you also work together on those challenges. So it's not only talking about each other about the challenges, it's really working on those challenges, designing solutions together. I think that's something that we should maybe do more even, at least something I enjoy with students, and I was for that really inspired by the students I just saw.
I'm going to go a little bit off script because I think we're focusing on something that's very important and that everyone in this room agrees with, which is that the only reason we do this, the only reason we're interested in these connections is for the sake of the students, is to help the students see the world in a different way, see their own context in that world in a different way, and create a change that they know is going to be important to their future.
And I think, Rachel, maybe to compliment you in this, also to, and we were talking about this yesterday, Daniel, as well, to really empower them and to let them experience successes, but also make them realize that their voice or their action matters and that they can contribute.
Yeah. May I come back to that cup here? Perfect. Because, you know, what they got out, at least the people from San Sebastian that evening, pride. What I could see in each and everyone's eyes was the pride on their small city being top. The other thing was success, for sure. Success which leads them to play international. So Global Connection will be in San Sebastian, also on the sporting field. And the third thing was the identity. Everybody was, except me, wearing blue and white. But I bought some for my son back home, so he will wear blue and white as well. So, according to what you said, now I'll have a test for you, because I learned that you will not follow us more than 20 minutes without doing something. So, now it's your job. I told you, the people from San Sebastian have been very proud, first, because they felt a big cultural identity, which was all given by success. So that's the job we as principals, as school leaders, as leaders of institutions have to do. We have to facilitate success for our students, to create a wet identity and to make them proud. So now you take all out your iPhones or mobiles and you check your website. If you open your institutional website, what do you see on the front page? Do you see pride, wet identity, or success? Do that. And you can do the proof with my website, which is www.gbssg.ch. But prove yourself. What do you see when you look firsthand on the window of your company or institution to the world and to the youngsters? And I think these three things we have to keep in the cup. Thank you.
Good. And Daniel's QR code will be coming up later. There's something about that, though, that I think we need to unpack. We're talking about how students need to have ownership. They have to have an identity that they're creating. They have to have pride. But we also want to cultivate in them something that goes beyond that, something that is not just about themselves, but is about a greater identity, a greater sense of pride. And I think that's what your organizations are particularly focused on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can start. So UNESCO, of course, being in charge of monitoring the SDG 4, which is education, quality, and relevance. We do work on different levels of helping achieve the different indicators. And one of the important indicators under education is the global citizenship education. So this is especially in the context of what is happening at the moment, where we want to see young people engaged socially, not only learning transversal and technical skills, but also being able to connect with their communities, learning social justice, education for sustainable development or climate literacy, and also help understanding how the diversity, multiculturalism, and also human justice work. So these are very important and critical competences that are emerging as equally important as technical skills. And I think we need to really ensure that the young people are learning these types of skills, and we create that platform and environment for them to develop through foundational learning experiences and also in the day-to-day activities that they are engaged in. So this is one of the ways to emphasize that.
Anyone want to go from there? I'm struck by the fact that you, and we all do, work in terms of platforms. We're trying to create an environment, trying to create some space that can be used to create the change that we want to see. Can you say a little bit about how those platforms get created? Because LCAMP is right in its title that we're trying to create a learning-centric platform. What are the key features that have to be part of that? How do we reach out and make those connections?
Yeah, in general, I think it is important to find common grounds. So often we think in differences, or in, I don't know the right words at the moment, but it's really important to find common grounds. And in this EBBD, it is then a harmonized certificate that is offered by those 50 colleges. So you have a similar setting and similar objectives that you work on, and European citizenship there is an important thing. And it just basically starts with colleges working together, international cooperation, finding each other in wanting to improve, wanting to offer better learning experiences for learners, and that grows because it works and others see how it works. And like you see here in LCAMP, and then the possibility to join in the continuation of it. It's important to spread it and to cooperate, because only together you can make the difference in the end.
Yeah, and I think from a Catapult perspective, one of the reasons we have this 500-600 public-private partnerships is because companies also, I want to all the other perspective, the SMEs, the companies also want to work with the VETs, the educational institutions within the Netherlands, because they need the new workforce. They need the youth also, but also increasingly they need to reskill their current working force for the future. And yeah, that's part of the reason why we have so many public-private partnerships, because the requirement is from two sides. The companies want to work with education, and education wants to work with the companies to update their curricula continually and work together. And I want to emphasize how important these collaborations are for the companies, especially for SMEs, because they face the same challenges as at the VET institutions. They need the VETs need to of course, educate the youth for the future, but they need to reskill their current workforce, but also they need to innovate, and they need to find out how is this technology going to work for me, for my company. And they also need to have to do this at the same time, actually. And this really requires this connection, local change, but also on a global level to accelerate and scale up these initiatives.
Yeah. At my college in Canada, we are always trying to communicate with local industry to make sure that we are providing them what they need in terms of upskilling. But the interesting thing is that dialogue. We also have companies constantly coming to us asking, what will be the next thing we have to do? Yeah. How do we need to prepare our students so that the companies themselves can prepare for the future? Can you say a little bit about that and about the preparation that's necessary and how you think into the future to be able to see that?
Therefore, as I'm from Switzerland, we have perhaps a little bit a special role due to the complete dual-based system. I have every day 1,300 companies in the classrooms because our students come for 1 or 2 days to school, the rest they work in the companies, and we get so fast feedback if we do not do the right things. because immediately I have a phone call from, I don't know what kind of company who tells me, hey, come on, but this technique is so outdated, please do not do that anymore. And that pushes us to be innovative as itself, because we were talking before that it's all about the students, and they bring those skills with them, and they also bring their wishes with them, and that comes from the companies. If they have much better technologies there, then they force us to do at least the same. But that's not the whole story, because 1,300 companies, at least for the students of my school, not all of them are superheroes. And you have to take care about all those who just do an apprenticeship in a company which is not the most innovative one or even the best one. And we as schools have also a different task to create global citizens, to give them other skills than only the basic skills of their occupation. And therefore, I think that is, at least in Switzerland, something that triggers us most to go international, to see what you are doing so good, if you have other systems, and we can bring that back into our system.
Yeah, I might have an example that really shows, because it's a difficult question, right? Looking into the future, especially for the perspective of companies, but also from VET. Especially when things are changing so fast as they are currently. So what I see in the Netherlands, at least, that what you have to take small steps. Don't think too big. Make it small. And one example I saw, and I was inspired by that, it's in Hardenberg, it's one of the places in Netherlands, and a cluster of companies and VET institutions over there. It's called Iconic. And what they do, by support of the local government, they purchased this cobot, collaborative robot. And what they did is they gave it to the students, and with the cobot they go to the companies. And so the student with the cobot goes to the company, and his assignment is really, how can we use this within this company? So find out solutions with cobot in this company. And what inspired me the most of this is that after this, they've done about 15 of these projects, maybe even more. 100% of the companies purchased a cobot after this learning part of this. So this really shows small steps together with students, making steps to the future.
Yes. There's a phrase I learned from a mentor of mine. He said, what we're trying to do is create visions of the possible. Yeah. And once you see the vision of the possible, it makes it easier to adopt it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, in the Netherlands, in the VET system, it is normal that about 1/3, I would say, of your school experience is at least in the companies. So internships really. So we have dual system as well, but I would say the larger part is full-time. We call it full-time education, but still then 1/3 of the time is spent in internships. And of course we get input from that as well, and we try to get, we actually do invite companies to come in and to talk to them as well. And what we find, well, it's not surprising because we hear it here as well, that many companies say as well that the technological skills, the things that they really need for the job, they will learn there.
Yes.
And please emphasize the soft skills. Please, the communication skills, how they present themselves, how or about ethics, values, really the critical, we've been talking about this a lot, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills. Really try to emphasize more on this, and I find that, well, it's actually just supporting what we are talking about, but it's also the complexity, because in the end you cannot completely stay up to date to all the technical developments.
Well, I think I can mention one of the initiatives of UNESCO when it comes to working with companies. So, of course, as we work with the different member states in helping them really emphasize the value of developing in a balanced way transversal and technical skills, we also partner with private organizations, companies. So there's this initiative called the Global Skills Academy, which has been running since the COVID times, which really allowed us to connect with the private sector. As we know, working with the private sector and companies is much more important now than ever. And we have also seen a lot of good success stories when we talk about the COVIS initiative, etc., how they connect with different companies. So, but nevertheless, this Global Skills Academy is an initiative where we reach out with the different private companies to help us really develop skills on digitalization, on greening, and entrepreneurial skills. So these are three important skills that we wanted to be supported, and so far we are really getting a lot of good traction. This Global Skills Academy has a very ambitious target of training 10 million students and up to 2029. And we are now halfway to achieving this goal. But we still strive and try to really ensure that the company engagement in TVET and promoting the different skills. For example, there are partners in this Global Skills Academy Coalition that supports the development of AI skills. And these are very good entry points for TVET institutions to start talking about AI and how they can implement, incorporate in their curricula, in their teaching resources, the development of these AI skills. And there are companies that are supporting these types of new technologies that we need to impart to the learners, to the students. So I think it's really about ensuring a balanced set of competencies, but also ensuring that we are also prepared for what is to happen what is happening now and what is going to happen in the near future.
You'll see how far afield we've gone here as I go forward, because now I'd like to talk about partnership here. Are there questions from the audience? We wanted to make sure that we left time for folks to ask questions, to raise concerns, to contribute to this dialogue that we've started on the stage. And you'll have to shout. I suspected this might happen.
All agree. No questions.
No questions?
They all agree. There.
Somewhere? Yes, please, stand.
I'm loose.
This was not a planted question.
No, I wanted to say that. This was not planned. But thank you very much.
But now you have to start.
Now I have to start as well. Yeah, okay, but I think I've said it before, but I think it's really important. These conferences are really, really important to learn from each other and what all the companies are doing and what works and what doesn't work. But I really think, and that was the hackathon approach that I addressed earlier, that we have to address those changes together, to design solutions together, to bring students together from different companies in Europe, especially in these times that we are in today, to get to know each other better, but also it's simply impossible, these challenges that we face, to do this alone as a country or a local, as a company or region even. So you need to do this on a global level even. And so bring the students together, bring the companies together, bring local challenges together, make them design solutions for the future, and incorporate those further in the companies and in the VET education. So I think that's really a practical way of doing it.
Yeah, I have a clear answer for you. Fill the cup. And how do you fill it? I had the chance to be project manager of the first Swiss COVI called Innovet, Innovation by Internationalization. We worked for 3.5 years with 14 institutions of 9 countries to look how institutions can get more innovation out of their everyday behavior by providing more internationalizations. And what we learned is, first, what do you have to fill in the cup? A strategy. So do you have an internationalization strategy written down, which every teacher knows about it? If not, that would be the first step. Second step, do you have the structures? That means resources, time for teachers to work for that strategy. If not, fill in the structures. And then the cup is only half full, because the second half will be the culture. So have you created a culture where all this exchange, cooperation, talking together, collaboration is being established? If not, start with the culture, and that's the most tricky point at all. So I would say fill the cup with the right strategy. We heard a lot, just you mentioned a lot of things you can do.
Yep.
But as a school, you have to kind of pour it in a strategy.
Yep.
And then the structures have to follow it, because without resources, I can tell you as a principal, you will burn out immediately. And to create this going the extra mile, you need the culture with the people who see the chances and the benefits they get if they even email Saturday and Sunday and connect in these times. That's my advice. The cup, again.
Good. For me, I would like to focus on, I really like the strategy part and the vision part, but for me, I would really like to give as takeaway for everyone that everyone can make the change, and we all have the task to engage others in democratic values and in supporting young people, but maybe also people around you, in being more open-minded to prevent further polarization, isolation, individualism, and to believe that together we can make a difference, and to empower young people that they can make a difference. So really small, in your surroundings, the young ones around you, the young ones in your class, we can all make the difference. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. For me, maybe I think when we talk about making connections and building partnerships, we always say this is something we should not be doing now, but yesterday, because this is very important in the operations of all our institutions. And I think it's very clear that we need partners, but what is not clear is what do we know of what we need? Who is our ecosystem? What is the ecosystem? What does the ecosystem in Tibet look like? And what can we gain from this? I think developing a shared value and vision with these different partners is key, because it's important for us to work with institutions that also complement our work, that also create solutions for something that is of value and is of additional value to how we work and how we address the needs in terms of skills of the young people that we serve. So it's important for us to cultivate this shared value, understand who is the partner we want to work with and for what. So this inward looking and thinking what we need for us to be able to really go out there and really find the partners that we need is very critical.
Good, good. I'm going to answer this one as well, because I have just a simple first step that we can make. I have a list of 10 people, and whenever my shop does something new, innovative, unusual, something that we hadn't tried before, I send an email to those 10 people, because they are the ones that I think can then share that with the rest of the world. Yeah. And look at that. I promised Susanna that we would end on time. So I'm going to go really fast to our last slide. Thank you all for sitting here. Thanks to the organizers, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, a big thank you to our panelists for their insightful contributions. It was really interesting. Eta orain, ekitaldiari amaiera emateko Jon Labaka Eusko Jaurlaritzako Hezkuntza Saileko Lanbide Heziketako sailburu ordeak hartuko du hitza. To close the event, it is our pleasure to welcome Jon Labaka, Vice Minister of Vocational Education and Training at the Basque Government. So, nahi duzunean, Labaka jauna, zeurea da hitza aurrera.
Thank you very much. Mil esker. Laburra izango da, ez kezkatu. It will be short. No, not too long. Okay. It's a pleasure for me and for us be part of this Congress, organize this Congress. I hope that all of us enjoy all this week, not only today, yesterday, tomorrow, and more. But the objective is not only show the result of the project of the Congress. I think that the main objective of this Congress is show how we can be part of an ecosystem, not only one Basque ecosystem, one European ecosystem. And I think that today, yesterday, tomorrow, we are really living this ecosystem, and for it, it's really a pleasure for me closing today this journey. Okay. Today, we start with our Minister, Begoña Pedrosa, and she spoke about our history. She talked about 20 or 30 years ago and how we start to work together in a school net. And how we has been building in these 20, 30 years the Basque ecosystem with different programs and different, and especially she showed our compromise with the vocational training, with the future of the Basque country students, and our compromise to help the companies to be more competitive, because I think that is very, very important how we prepare our people. After, Elena and Georgios also show us the keys for an innovative VET system. They speak about applied innovation, applied research. They also speak about the importance of the training, and especially they speak about how important is prepare and the good professionals, and thinking not only the workers, also the professionals who will be part of the vocational training organization. After that, Inge speak about bus strategy and our 5 goals, and also the first ideas about what has been we doing the last 4 years in LCAMP project. That is a sample of collaboration between different countries with very interesting results. Elsa Isa, she showed us that green skills, green competence are not something that we put after our skill. It's not something complementary, but it's something that is integrated in the competitive of a country, in the life of a country, and of course that we must integrate also in the we must integrate also in our learning process with the students and the schools. Alessandro Marini speak about the skills, and I think that he has been the first person who speak not only the technical skill, also speak about the other kind of skills, soft skills, and that we are using also in LCAMP at the system. After, Klaus Dieter introduce us Mila, and how Mila can improve, and how Mila can get the skills that she needs. technical, and against technical skills, soft skills, values, and more and more. And we start speaking about methodologies, and not only how learn the student, also the, not only what learn the student, also the how the student be part in the learning process. After the coffee, we have a very interesting panel, and they speak about how we can do things. They speak about the students, companies, and how we can motivate and how we can think about the future and build the future. With all this, I think that with all this, we have a very complete program. I think that it has been a very interesting program. And the title of the Congress is Local Change for Global Connection. I think that is I can take this idea because I think that today we show that it's very important how and what we do in the local level and how we connect these objectives with a global connection. We can do a lot of things, but we alone, we can do all. And if we are connected with other people, we can learn of other people and we can progress faster. This is the idea. We speak about bus strategy, and bus strategy is very important for us. Tomorrow we will continue with the bus strategy. One of the 5 goals of the bus strategy is the internationalization, of course, but we work to develop the Basque goals, and tomorrow maybe we will be in our desk working in concrete things. No? Okay. But we also speak, and we listen of the Commission, Anna of the Commission European Commission, speaking about the European strategy. And I feel that the European objective, goal, and strategy is very, very connected. We are online with the European connection, with the European strategy. We are connected with that. I feel that happened not only in the Basque region, I feel that that's happened in other regions, and I think that is very, very important because we want to improve, we can be better, we can be more competitive, we want that our companies will be more competitive in a global world. We can do that as Basque people, but also we can do that as European citizens. So I think that this Congress is a good example for show that. Before finish, you also speak about the professionals, and I want use the last part of the closing, speaking about the professionals, the Basque professional in this case, and I will do speak in Basque. Okay. Gaur egun, mobilan, egunkarian, telebistan, realeko jaiaz aparte, albiste gehienak, nahiko kezkagarriak dira, ez? Ari gara jasotzen input asko, non norbaitek uste panelean esan dutela baita ere, ezta, non, igual ez dakizu zer egin, ez? Pixkat, haundiegia bezala geratzeizu, ez? Noruntza egin behar du, zer egin behar dugu, nola abiatu, nola lan egin, ez? Arazo hau nire gaitasunetik at dago, ez? Kanpora dago. Gure egunerokotasunean, ez dauzkagu kongresoak, ez dauzkagu luntxak, beste lan eta tasa mota batzuk dauzkagu, erronkak, lana, estresa, arazoak, konpondu ezin ditugun gauzak, eta, horren adibide bat, esan dezakegu dela, kongreso honen antolakuntza, ez? Kongreso honen antolakuntza ere, estres puntu bat izan du, eta lan asko eskatu du, ez? Eta nahi diot eskartu bereziki, kongreso antolakuntzan egon diren pertsonei, hemen hartu duten ardura eta lana, zergatik bere egin behar formaletik asko zeharago jundia, eta hori oso garrantzitsua da. Eta eskertzekoa, eta eskertu nahi du publikoki. Erronka eta arazoen hauen aurrean, urteetan beti egon dira, erronkak jarraitzen dugu izaten, izango ditugu, aldatu egiten dira, azkarrago aldatzen dira gaur egun, baina horren aurrean beti, gure konpromisoa, gure lana, eta gure hoberena eskaini dugu, ez? Eta hori da guk egin bezakeguna, ez da? Lanbide heziketa sistema bezala, urrengo hilabetetan, urteetan, urrengo denboran, etortzen diren erronken aurrean, gure hoberena ematen jarraitu behar dugu. Eta esatet ematen jarraitu, ze konstiente naiz ematen ari garela. Ni ez naiz bakarrik sentitzen, eta pentsatzen dut lanbide heziketan lanean gaudenok, eta beste kolektibo batzutan noskire baietz, ez garela bakarrik sentitzen. Erronka potentea dauzkagu, ustet estrategiak eta olako kongresuak eta Europan estrategia eta gure estrategia laguntzen digula helburuak finkatzen eta bidea adosten eta ulertzen, zer egin behar dugun, eta noruntza jo behar dugun oso garrantzitsua da hori, partekatzea, horregatik da garrantzitsua gure estrategia plazaratzea, idatziz jartzea eta erakustea, horregatik da garrantzitsua denok jakitea, formakuntza, talentua, ze garrantzia daukan, hor barruan dauden erronkekin eta erronka guztiak, badakizue aldaketa askokin gabiltza, bere lana eta bere arazoak eta bere exitua ekarriko dute, hori espero dugu, baita ere digitalizazioa, baita ere jasangarritasuna, eta jasangarritasuna hemen hitz egin dugu, bakarrik ez da jasangarritasun energetikoa edo klimatikoa, baita ere ari gara hitz egiten gizarte bezala jasangarriak izatea, eta hori esan nahi du kritikoak izatea, hori esan nahi du kultura demokratiko bat lantzea, eta gai izatea elkarrekin lan egiteko, digitalizazioa, berrikuntza, nazioartekoa, bide hori plazaratzea eta mahaigainean jartzea eta denok ezagutzea, laguntzen digu zer egin behar dugun, eta ze bide hartu behar dugun, eta ze bidean jarraitu behar dugun partekatu eta jarraitzea. Laguntzen digu eta lagundu behar dugu harrotasunak ere bai. Gauza da bidea zein den jakitea, beste gauza da lana eta esfuerzo eskatuko digu, eta lana eta esfuerzo hori egiteko harro egotea, hemen basoarekin, eta esan dugu, harrotasunez, orgulloa, esan duzen, horren inguruan. Harrotasunez. Harro egon gaitezke oraino etorri garelako, noraino iritsi garen, eta harrotasun horretatik gure hoberena ematen jarraitzea konbidatzen zaituztez. Eta onaino, badakit ordu erdi bat zela, koltsoitxo bat gerukan, bazpare atzera perak zeuden edo ez, ni uste ez du da bena merezi lusatzea gehiegi. Borobilduz eta izteko asmoarekin oso evento polita esan dugu, oso aukera polita daukagu urrengo urteetako LCAMP edo kolaborazio proiektuak hemen lantzen hasteko, ekosistema honetan, Europeako ekosistema honetan, Euskadiko ekosistema honetan, animatzen zaituztet urrengo egunetan urrengo proiektuen bila pentsatzea eta lanean jartzea. Erronka potentea dauzkagu, sarean egingo ditugu, eta horrea jarraitzen dugu. In English, to finish, only say that it has been a pleasure closing this journey. We have this afternoon and tomorrow to continue working, use this opportunity to think, to thought in the new or the next project. Is our culture, is our objective, work together as a European citizen in this project. Maybe, Daniel, now is the moment to take a cup, put beer or wine. I start with the lunch. So, thank you very much, and goodbye. Thank you.
Bueno, eskerrik asko, Jon. Bueno, para finalizar, podemos decir que quedan muchos retos por delante en la transformación de la formación profesional y de la fabricación avanzada, pero ha quedado claro a lo largo de esta jornada, de esta mañana, que existe ilusión, existe compromiso y una visión compartida para seguir avanzando juntos. Erronka asko ditugu oraindik aurretik eta ez txikiak, lanbide heziketaren eta fabrikazio aurreratuen eraldaketan, baina argi dago, argi gelditu da, zuek entzuten bereziki, ilusioa badagoela, konpromisoa badagoela, eta badagoela ere bai partekatutako ikuspegi bat, aurretik daukagun bide hori, eta erronka horiei heltzeko bide hori, elkarrekin egiteko. There are still many challenges ahead in the transformation of vocational education and the advanced manufacturing, but today's discussion have made it clear that there is strong commitment enthusiasm and the shared vision to move forward together, and that's really important. On behalf of the Education Department of the Basque Country and Technica, thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure having you here, and as we said, it's going to continue. En nombre del Departamento de Educación del Gobierno Vasco y de Técnica, gracias a todos y a todas por vuestra asistencia. Ha sido un placer, esan bezala, Eusko Jaurlaritzako, Hezkuntza Sailaren eta Teknikaren izenean, eskerrik asko denoi, plazera izan da zuek hemen eukitzea, oso interesgarria izan da, eta egun ederra pasa dezazuela. Eskerrik asko, thank you very much.